Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you here with us. Tonight, we venture beyond the familiar stories of crashed saucers and recovered craft. We step into the shadowed laboratories where, some say, the real work begins, the hidden experiments of Area 51. What happens when alien technology meets human curiosity? When materials not of this world are placed under microscopes, subjected to tests, and slowly, carefully taken apart. You decide what lies within those sterile chambers. Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's descend into the underground world where science meets the impossible. Chapter 1. The Laboratories That Don't Exist. Imagine walking through a door that officially doesn't exist, down a corridor that appears on no government blueprint. The air here tastes different, filtered through systems designed for materials more dangerous than anything found naturally on Earth. The walls are smooth, seamless concrete that seems to absorb sound rather than reflect it. Your footsteps are muffled, creating an almost underwater quality to the silence. This is the world beneath Area 51 that insiders have whispered about since the 1960s. Not the hangars visible from satellite images, not the runways where test pilots push experimental aircraft to their limits, but something deeper. Something that exists in the spaces between what the government acknowledges and what a few claim to have seen firsthand. The laboratories, if they exist, were built during the height of the Cold War, when secrecy was paramount and budgets for classified projects seemed unlimited. Construction crews were flown in from different states, worked on isolated sections, and were rotated out before they could understand the full scope of what they were building. The result, according to some accounts, is a network of chambers buried so deep beneath the Nevada desert that seismic equipment struggles to detect them. Temperature control in these alleged facilities goes far beyond standard laboratory requirements. Witnesses describe environments where the climate never varies by more than a fraction of a degree, where humidity is regulated to the decimal point, and where atmospheric pressure can be adjusted to match conditions found on other worlds. The technology required for such precision would be decades ahead of anything used in conventional research, suggesting that whatever is being studied here demands environmental conditions that Earth laboratories are not naturally equipped to provide. The air filtration systems, according to insider accounts, are unlike anything found in standard biological safety laboratories. Multiple layers of specialized filters, electromagnetic barriers, and what some describe as energy fields that seem to neutralize contamination at the molecular level. Workers entering these areas must pass through decontamination chambers that expose them to procedures beyond the usual chemical washes and radiation detection. Some report experiencing sensations during these processes that they cannot adequately describe, as if their very cellular structure is being scanned and verified. Security within these alleged laboratories operates on principles of radical compartmentalization. Personnel are assigned to specific projects and restricted to designated areas. A materials analyst might spend years studying the composition of a single metallic sample without ever knowing its origin or purpose. A biologist might monitor cellular activity in specimens that display properties inconsistent with Earth-based life, yet never be told where those specimens came from or how they were obtained. The experiments themselves, if witness accounts are accurate, began in the 1950s following incidents that the government has never officially acknowledged. Materials recovered from crash sites that defied conventional analysis, biological samples that displayed characteristics impossible according to current scientific understanding. Technology that operated on principles that human science was only beginning to theorize about. One former contractor, speaking under condition of anonymity in the 1990s, described being escorted to a laboratory where a team of researchers worked with what appeared to be living metal. The substance responded to electromagnetic fields by changing shape, density, and even transparency. When current was applied, it would form complex geometric patterns that seemed to serve unknown functions. When the power was removed, it would return to its original state, with no apparent loss of structural integrity. Another account tells of biological laboratories where specimens are kept in conditions that mimic environments not found on Earth. Atmospheric compositions with gas ratios unknown to our planet, gravitational fields that can be adjusted through means that remain classified, and electromagnetic environments that allow certain biological processes to occur that would be impossible under normal terrestrial conditions. The timescale of these alleged experiments stretches across generations. Projects that began when the base was first established continue today under the guidance of researchers who have dedicated their entire careers to understanding materials and phenomena that exist outside conventional scientific paradigms. Some insiders suggest that certain experiments have been running continuously for over 60 years, with data being collected and analyzed by teams who may never fully understand what they are studying. The psychological impact on those who work in these facilities, according to some testimonies, is profound. Extended exposure to technology and materials that operate outside known scientific principles can create a sense of isolation from the normal world. Some former workers describe feeling as though they have been given glimpses of knowledge that humanity is not yet ready to possess, while others speak of a growing certainty that Earth is not alone in the universe and that contact with other intelligences has been ongoing for decades. Quality control in these laboratories allegedly exceeds anything found in conventional research facilities. Every tool, every sample, every data point is monitored and recorded with precision that borders on obsession. The reason, according to some accounts, is that the materials being studied are irreplaceable. If a sample is damaged or contaminated, there may be no way to obtain another. Each gram of exotic matter, each biological specimen, each fragment of unknown technology represents an opportunity that might not come again. The waste disposal protocols for these laboratories, if they exist, remain one of the most closely guarded secrets. Materials that cannot be destroyed through conventional means, biological samples that might contaminate Earth's ecosystem if improperly handled, and technology that continues to function even when damaged, all require disposal methods that go far beyond standard hazardous waste procedures. And so, these laboratories continue their work in absolute silence, visible to no satellite, acknowledged by no official, confirmed by no government document. Yet the accounts persist, whispered by those who claim to have walked through doors that officially don't exist, to have seen experiments that challenge everything we think we know about science, physics, and life itself. Whether these chambers are real or simply the product of imagination and speculation, they represent humanity's deepest questions about our place in the universe and what we might discover if we're brave enough to look beyond the boundaries of accepted knowledge. In the next chapter, we venture even deeper into the underground maze to explore the most controversial experiment of all, Project Looking Glass, where time itself becomes another variable to manipulate. Chapter 2: Project Looking Glass, Time and Consciousness. In the deepest levels of Area 51's alleged underground complex, behind doors that require clearance levels that officially don't exist, some claim there lies a chamber unlike any other on Earth. The room is larger than a cathedral, its walls lined with what witnesses describe as crystalline structures that seem to grow from the floor and ceiling like frozen lightning. The air here hums with a frequency that you feel more than hear, a vibration that seems to resonate directly with your consciousness itself. This is where Project Looking Glass supposedly operates, the most classified and controversial experiment ever linked to the Nevada facility. If the testimonies are accurate, this program goes far beyond studying alien materials or reverse engineering crashed spacecraft. It delves into the very nature of time, consciousness, and what it means to exist as an aware being in this universe. The project's name first surfaced in whispered conversations among alleged insiders during the 1980s. Unlike other Area 51 rumors that focused on physical craft or recovered bodies, Looking Glass testimonies described something far more abstract and infinitely more disturbing. Experiments designed to map consciousness itself, to understand how awareness functions not just in human minds, but in intelligences that evolved under alien skies. Central to these accounts are the suspension chambers, cylindrical tanks filled with a translucent fluid that seems to shift between liquid and gas depending on the angle of observation. Within these chambers, according to witness testimonies, lie beings that appear to be in a state between life and death, their bodies perfectly preserved, while their minds remain active in ways that human science struggles to comprehend. The monitoring equipment surrounding these chambers defies conventional understanding of medical technology. Devices that pulse with soft, rhythmic light in colors that don't quite match any earthly spectrum. Screens displaying patterns that seem to represent neural activity, but in configurations that suggest thought processes fundamentally different from human cognition. The data streams are said to flow in mathematical sequences that require specially trained personnel to interpret, individuals who have spent years learning to read the language of alien consciousness. One former contractor, speaking anonymously in the late 1990s, claimed to have witnessed a consciousness transfer experiment. The process involved two chambers, one containing what appeared to be a recovered extraterrestrial being, the other holding a human volunteer. Through a complex array of electromagnetic fields and quantum entanglement devices, researchers allegedly attempted to create a temporary bridge between the two minds, allowing limited exchange of memories and experiences. The volunteer, according to this account, emerged from the procedure fundamentally changed. They spoke of experiencing memories that spanned not years but centuries, of viewing Earth from the perspective of beings that had watched our planet develop over geological timescales. More disturbing still, they reported that during the connection, they sensed the alien consciousness studying them in return, learning about human neural patterns and psychological structures with an intensity that left them feeling exposed at the deepest possible level. Time manipulation forms another crucial component of the alleged Looking Glass project. Witnesses describe chambers where temporal fields are generated through means that remain incomprehensible to conventional physics. These areas, they claim, experience time at different rates than the surrounding facility. Minutes inside might correspond to hours outside, or conversely, extended periods of subjective time might pass in moments of real duration. The purpose of these temporal experiments, according to insider testimonies, relates directly to consciousness transfer. If human minds could be accelerated or decelerated relative to normal time flow, researchers theorized, it might become possible to interface more effectively with alien intelligences, that operate on vastly different temporal scales. Some extraterrestrial beings, these accounts suggest, think in patterns measured in centuries, while others process information at rates that make human thought seem glacially slow. The crystalline structures that line the looking glass chamber are said to serve as both conduits and storage devices for consciousness data. These formations, according to some accounts, are not built but grown, cultivated using techniques derived from studying alien technology. Each crystal supposedly contains vast amounts of information about consciousness patterns, serving as a library of minds both human and extraterrestrial. Security around the Looking Glass project allegedly exceeds even Area 51's typically extreme measures. Personnel assigned to the program undergo psychological evaluation not just before their assignment, but continuously throughout their involvement. The reason, according to insider claims, is that exposure to alien consciousness patterns can have profound and unpredictable effects on human mental stability. Some workers, these accounts suggest, begin to experience memories that are not their own, dreams filled with landscapes they have never seen, and knowledge of technologies they have never studied. Others report a growing sense of disconnection from human society, as if their exposure to genuinely alien ways of thinking has made it impossible to relate to purely terrestrial perspectives. The ethical implications of the Looking Glass project, if it exists, are staggering. Questions arise not just about experimenting on recovered extraterrestrial beings, but about what happens to human volunteers who undergo consciousness transfer procedures. Are their minds permanently altered? Do they retain their essential humanity, or do they become something new, something caught between human and alien awareness? Perhaps most disturbing are the accounts that suggest some consciousness transfer experiments have achieved too much success. Volunteers whose minds become so thoroughly integrated with alien thought patterns that they can no longer function in human society. These individuals, according to whispered testimonies, require permanent isolation, not because they are dangerous, but because they have become too alien to safely interact with normal humans. The Project Looking Glass chamber operates continuously, according to some insider accounts. The temporal fields and consciousness monitoring equipment never shut down, creating a space where time, awareness, and identity become fluid concepts. Researchers work in shifts, never spending more than a few hours at a time in direct contact with the experimental environment, lest they too begin to experience the psychological effects that seem inevitable for prolonged exposure. Critics argue that consciousness transfer technology remains purely theoretical, that the human brain's complexity makes such procedures impossible with current understanding of neuroscience. They point out that no verified evidence of such experiments has ever surfaced, that the testimonies remain anonymous and unsubstantiated. Yet the consistency of details across unrelated accounts, the specific descriptions of technology and procedures, and the psychological profiles of alleged witnesses continue to fuel speculation. In the silence of the Nevada desert night, while the world sleeps unaware, some believe that Project Looking Glass continues its work, mapping the final frontier not of space, but of consciousness itself. Seeking to understand what makes a mind aware, and whether that awareness can be shared, transferred, or perhaps even replicated in forms that transcend the boundaries between species and worlds. In our next chapter, we venture into even more controversial territory to explore claims of experiments that go beyond studying alien life to creating something entirely new. The alleged hybrid program, where two worlds attempt to become one. Chapter 3: The Hybrid Program, Blending Two Worlds. Beyond the consciousness transfer chambers of Project Looking Glass, in sections of the underground complex that require even higher clearance levels, some insiders claim there exists a program that pushes the boundaries of biological science into territory that challenges our understanding of life itself. Here, in laboratories that maintain the sterile precision of the world's most advanced medical facilities, researchers allegedly work not just to study alien biology, but to merge it with human genetics in ways that create entirely new forms of life. The hybrid program, if witness testimonies are accurate, began in the early 1970s as a natural extension of biological research conducted on recovered extraterrestrial specimens. As scientists gained understanding of alien cellular structures, genetic coding, and reproductive systems, the question inevitably arose: could these biological systems be integrated with human DNA to create beings that combined the best capabilities of both species? The incubation chambers, described by alleged insiders, occupy a series of rooms that stretch deep beneath the Nevada desert. Each chamber is a marvel of biological engineering: cylindrical tanks approximately 8 feet tall and 4 feet in diameter, filled with a nutrient-rich fluid that maintains perfect biochemical balance. The temperature is regulated to a precision measured in hundredths of degrees, while electromagnetic fields create conditions that apparently allow genetic material from two entirely different evolutionary paths to successfully integrate. Within these chambers, according to whispered accounts from those who claim to have witnessed the program firsthand, developing organisms float in various stages of growth. Some appear almost entirely human, distinguishable from normal human fetuses only by subtle differences in cranial development or limb proportions. Others display characteristics that clearly indicate non-human genetic influence: enlarged craniums that suggest enhanced neural capacity, elongated limbs that might provide advantages in different gravitational environments, or sensory organs that could perceive electromagnetic spectra invisible to human perception. The genetic sequencing technology required for such experiments, according to insider testimonies, operates on principles that exceed anything available in conventional biological research. Computer systems that can map and manipulate DNA strands with precision measured at the individual nucleotide level, while simultaneously predicting how alien genetic structures will interact with human chromosomes. The processing power required for such calculations would represent a quantum leap beyond current computational capabilities, suggesting that the technology itself might be partially derived from recovered alien systems. One former researcher, speaking anonymously in the late 1990s, described witnessing what appeared to be accelerated development protocols. Organisms that would normally require 9 months of gestation were brought to full development in a matter of weeks through environmental manipulation and genetic programming that controlled cellular division rates. The resulting beings, according to this account, displayed intelligence levels that exceeded normal human capacity, while retaining emotional and psychological characteristics that allowed for social integration. The psychological profiling of hybrid subjects allegedly reveals capabilities that represent significant advances over baseline human performance. Enhanced memory retention that approaches photographic recall, processing speeds that allow for complex problem solving at rates that seem almost precognitive, and sensory capabilities that extend well beyond normal human ranges. Some subjects reportedly demonstrate limited telepathic abilities, though whether this represents true extrasensory perception or simply highly advanced pattern recognition through subtle environmental cues remains unclear. The aging process in hybrid subjects, according to some accounts, follows patterns that differ significantly from normal human development. Some reportedly mature intellectually at accelerated rates while maintaining physical development that corresponds to standard human growth patterns. Others display the reverse, achieving adult physical characteristics while retaining psychological profiles that suggest extended periods of mental and emotional development. These variations, insiders suggest, relate to which alien genetic traits are expressed most strongly in individual subjects. Integration protocols for successfully developed hybrid subjects allegedly involve extensive psychological conditioning designed to prepare them for life in human society. The process includes cultural education, emotional development training, and carefully managed exposure to normal human social environments. Some accounts describe suburban housing facilities that appear to be normal residential neighborhoods, but are actually controlled environments where hybrid subjects learn to navigate human social structures under constant observation. The ethical implications of the hybrid program, if such experiments truly exist, extend far beyond conventional concerns about human experimentation. Questions arise about the consciousness and rights of beings that are neither fully human nor entirely alien. Do hybrid subjects possess the same claim to autonomy and self-determination as naturally born humans? What obligations do their creators have toward beings that represent entirely new forms of life? Perhaps most disturbing are accounts that suggest some hybrid subjects have been placed into normal human society without the knowledge of the communities that accepted them. These individuals allegedly undergo extensive monitoring throughout their lives, their development tracked, and their interactions analyzed to understand how successfully alien genetic traits can be integrated into human social structures. Whether such subjects are aware of their own nature remains a subject of intense speculation among researchers who study these claims. The success rate of hybrid development, according to insider testimonies, remains relatively low despite decades of refinement. Many experimental subjects fail to develop properly, while others survive the incubation process only to display genetic instabilities that prevent long-term viability. The few that achieve successful integration reportedly represent the culmination of hundreds of previous attempts, each failure providing data that improved subsequent experiments. Storage and care facilities for hybrid subjects allegedly occupy entire levels of the underground complex designed to accommodate beings whose needs may differ significantly from those of normal humans. Environmental controls that can simulate various atmospheric conditions, gravitational fields that can be adjusted to match different planetary environments, and nutritional systems capable of providing sustenance for metabolisms that operate on principles unknown to terrestrial biology. The long-term goals of the hybrid program, according to various theories proposed by those who study these claims, range from creating enhanced humans capable of surviving in hostile alien environments to developing ambassadors who could facilitate communication between human and extraterrestrial civilizations. Some suggest the program represents preparation for eventual human expansion into space, creating beings capable of adapting to conditions on distant worlds. Others propose more immediate applications, such as developing individuals with capabilities necessary for operating recovered alien technology. Critics argue that the technological and biological challenges involved in creating viable human-alien hybrids remain insurmountable given current understanding of genetics and developmental biology. They point out that successful hybridization typically requires species that are closely related evolutionarily, a condition unlikely to exist between humans and beings that evolved on entirely different worlds. The absence of verified physical evidence, they argue, suggests these accounts represent speculation rather than documented fact. Yet, the consistency of descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific details about genetic sequencing and development protocols, and the detailed accounts of hybrid characteristics continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in laboratories equipped with technology decades ahead of publicly available science. Whether the hybrid program exists as described or represents the elaboration of simpler biological research into more complex mythology, the concept continues to capture imagination and generate questions about the future of human evolution. In the sterile silence of the alleged incubation chambers, where the boundary between human and alien becomes meaningless, some believe that new forms of life slowly develop toward consciousness, beings that represent not just scientific achievement, but the first steps toward a future where the distinction between terrestrial and extraterrestrial life begins to fade. Whether that future represents humanity's greatest opportunity or its most profound risk remains an open question in the desert darkness. In the next chapter, we explore experiments that challenge our understanding of physics itself, where gravity becomes just another variable to manipulate in the search for propulsion systems that could carry humanity to the stars. Chapter 4: Anti-Gravity Research and the Element Studies. In the deepest chambers of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where the Earth above provides natural shielding from electromagnetic interference and prying satellites, some claim there exists a laboratory where the fundamental forces of the universe are treated as variables to be manipulated rather than immutable laws to be obeyed. Here, in rooms lined with materials that absorb stray radiation and vibrations, researchers allegedly work with substances that challenge our basic understanding of physics, chemistry, and the very nature of matter itself. The Element Studies program, according to insider testimonies, began in the late 1950s as scientists attempted to understand materials recovered from alleged crash sites. These substances, witnesses claim, displayed properties that didn't fit into Earth's periodic table or conform to known laws of atomic structure. Some materials appeared to generate their own energy fields. Others seemed to exist in a state between solid and liquid, and a few displayed the most remarkable property of all: the ability to counteract gravitational attraction through means that conventional physics could not explain. Element 115, first brought to public attention by whistleblower claims in the early 1990s, represents only the most famous of these exotic materials. According to alleged researchers who claim to have worked with it directly, this substance exists in a stable isotope configuration that Earth-based laboratories have never successfully recreated. When subjected to specific electromagnetic frequencies, witnesses report small samples of the material begin to exhibit gravitational anomalies that create distortion fields around test chambers. The testing chambers designed for anti-gravity research allegedly represent engineering achievements that exceed anything found in conventional laboratories. Rooms where gravitational fields can be isolated and manipulated, where the direction and intensity of gravitational attraction becomes adjustable through technological means that remain classified at the highest levels. These chambers, according to insider accounts, are spherical in design with perfectly smooth interior surfaces that prevent gravitational eddies or field irregularities that might contaminate experimental results. Within these chambers, witnesses describe demonstrations that defy everything we understand about how matter behaves in gravitational fields. Metallic samples that float without magnetic or electromagnetic support, their position in space maintained through interaction with fields generated by exotic matter configurations. Some materials reportedly display selective gravitational response, repelling the Earth's gravitational field while remaining attracted to certain synthetic field generators, suggesting that gravity itself might be far more complex than current theories indicate. The electromagnetic properties of these exotic materials allegedly extend far beyond simple anti-gravity effects. Some substances reportedly phase in and out of visible spectrum detection, becoming translucent or completely transparent when subjected to specific frequency combinations. Others appear to bend light around their surfaces, creating optical effects that render them nearly invisible despite remaining physically present in the test chamber. Temperature resistance in these materials exceeds anything found in Earth-based substances, according to researcher testimonies. Samples reportedly maintain stable molecular structure when subjected to temperatures that would vaporize conventional metals while simultaneously remaining cool to the touch, even when exposed to intense electromagnetic bombardment. This suggests atomic binding forces that operate on principles unknown to terrestrial chemistry, possibly involving quantum effects that human science is only beginning to theorize about. The propulsion research conducted with these materials allegedly focuses on creating field effects that could revolutionize transportation technology. Rather than pushing against atmospheric or space mediums through conventional thrust, these systems reportedly generate localized distortions in space-time itself, allowing craft to move by bringing their destination closer rather than accelerating toward it through normal means. The energy requirements for such systems, according to some accounts, are surprisingly modest when exotic matter serves as the field generation medium. One former technician, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing a propulsion test that involved a metallic disc approximately 10 feet in diameter suspended in a specialized chamber. When power was applied to exotic matter samples positioned around the disc's perimeter, the entire assembly began to hover silently, then moved in precise patterns through three-dimensional space without any visible means of thrust or guidance. The movement was described as unnaturally smooth, with instantaneous acceleration and deceleration that suggested the craft was not overcoming inertia, but somehow existing outside normal inertial constraints. The storage protocols for exotic materials allegedly require environmental conditions that exceed the most stringent laboratory standards. Temperature-controlled vaults, where atmospheric composition can be precisely regulated, electromagnetic shielding that prevents external fields from interfering with material properties, and containment systems designed to handle substances that might react unpredictably to Earth's natural electromagnetic environment. Some materials reportedly require storage in artificial gravitational fields to prevent them from floating away or passing through conventional container walls. Handling procedures for these substances apparently involve protective equipment that goes far beyond standard laboratory safety protocols. Personnel reportedly wear suits that provide not just chemical and radiation protection, but electromagnetic shielding, designed to prevent the exotic materials from interfering with human bioelectric fields. Some accounts describe workers experiencing disorientation, temporal displacement sensations, or consciousness alterations when working in close proximity to certain samples, suggesting that the material's effects extend beyond simple physical properties. The manufacturing attempts to recreate these exotic materials allegedly represent some of the most advanced materials science research ever conducted. Particle accelerators designed specifically for exotic isotope production, electromagnetic field generators capable of creating conditions that don't exist naturally anywhere in the solar system, and quantum manipulation equipment that works with individual atomic structures to create materials with precisely engineered properties. The energy requirements for such manufacturing reportedly exceed the output of conventional power plants, requiring dedicated nuclear reactors to provide sufficient electromagnetic field strength. Quality control for exotic materials involves testing procedures that remain largely theoretical in conventional science. Gravitational field measurement equipment, sensitive enough to detect variations in local space-time curvature, electromagnetic spectrum analyzers, capable of monitoring radiation across frequencies that extend well beyond visible light, and temporal measurement devices designed to detect whether materials affect the flow of time in their immediate vicinity. The precision required for such measurements allegedly pushes instrumentation technology decades beyond publicly available scientific equipment. The theoretical implications of successful anti-gravity research extend far beyond improved transportation technology. Materials that can manipulate gravitational fields might also affect time flow, given the intimate connection between gravity and temporal mechanics revealed by Einstein's relativity theories. Some insider accounts describe temporal anomalies observed during high-energy exotic matter experiments, suggesting that mastery of gravitational manipulation might provide pathways to time travel research that remains purely theoretical in conventional physics. Perhaps most intriguingly, some researchers reportedly believe that exotic materials demonstrate signs of consciousness or responsiveness that suggest intelligence at the molecular level. Materials that seem to anticipate experimental procedures, samples that modify their properties based on observer expectations, and substances that appear to learn from repeated testing protocols. Whether this represents genuine material consciousness or simply quantum effects that respond to observation remains one of the most puzzling aspects of the alleged research. The weaponization potential of anti-gravity technology, according to some accounts, has led to strict limitations on research directions and personnel access. Materials that could neutralize enemy aircraft by creating gravitational fields that interfere with conventional propulsion, or defensive systems that could deflect incoming projectiles by bending space around protected targets. The strategic implications of such capabilities would represent military advantages comparable to the development of nuclear weapons, ensuring that research remains compartmentalized at the highest classification levels. Critics of exotic material claims argue that violations of known physical laws would require evidence that exceeds anything currently available. They point out that anti-gravity effects, if achievable, would revolutionize not just transportation, but energy production, manufacturing, and virtually every aspect of technology. The absence of such revolutionary changes in public technology, they suggest, indicates that reports of successful anti-gravity research represent misunderstanding of conventional phenomena rather than genuine exotic material properties. Yet the consistency of descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific technical details provided in testimonies, and the logical progression from material recovery to research to application continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in laboratories equipped with technology and materials that exceed publicly available science. Whether exotic matter research represents the leading edge of human technological development or remains purely speculative, the concept continues to capture imagination and generate questions about the fundamental nature of physical reality. In the electromagnetic silence of these alleged laboratories, where gravity becomes just another experimental variable and matter behaves according to laws that human science is only beginning to discover, researchers may be unlocking secrets that could transform civilization itself. Whether those secrets lead to liberation from Earth's gravitational well or remain forever locked in underground chambers depends on questions of security, safety, and perhaps humanity's readiness to wield power over the fundamental forces that govern our universe. In our next chapter, we venture into even more controversial territory, exploring experiments that probe the very nature of memory and consciousness, where the boundaries between observer and observed begin to blur in ways that challenge our understanding of what it means to be aware. Chapter 5: The Memory Extraction Protocol. In the most restricted chambers of Area 51's alleged underground complex, behind security barriers that require clearance levels known only to a handful of individuals, some claim there exists a laboratory where the final frontier is not space, but consciousness itself. Here, in rooms where electromagnetic fields are precisely controlled and neural activity can be monitored with resolution measured in individual synaptic transmissions, researchers allegedly probe the deepest mysteries of awareness, memory, and what it truly means to possess a mind. The Memory Extraction Protocol, according to whispered testimonies from those who claim inside knowledge, represents the convergence of neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and technology that operates on principles human science is only beginning to understand. If these accounts are accurate, the program goes far beyond studying alien physiology to explore something far more profound and disturbing: the possibility of downloading, analyzing, and potentially transferring the actual experiences and memories of beings whose consciousness evolved under alien stars. The technology allegedly employed in these experiments exists at the intersection of biological monitoring and quantum data processing. Witnesses describe arrays of crystalline sensors that can detect neural activity with precision that exceeds conventional brain imaging by several orders of magnitude. These sensors, arranged in complex geometric patterns around specialized examination chambers, reportedly monitor not just electrical activity, but quantum fluctuations within neural tissue that appear to correlate directly with memory formation and retrieval processes. The examination chambers themselves, according to insider accounts, maintain environmental conditions that allow for optimal neural activity monitoring while preserving specimen integrity. Temperature regulation precise to hundredths of degrees, atmospheric composition that can be adjusted to match various planetary environments, and electromagnetic field generators that create conditions allowing consciousness to be studied in isolation from external interference. The chambers are described as being lined with materials that absorb stray electromagnetic radiation while amplifying the subtle quantum signatures associated with conscious thought. Specimen preparation for memory extraction allegedly involves procedures that go far beyond conventional medical protocols. Subjects, whether recovered alien beings or volunteers from advanced human consciousness research programs, undergo neural mapping that creates detailed three-dimensional models of their brain structure and activity patterns. This mapping process reportedly requires specialized equipment that can trace individual neural pathways while simultaneously monitoring the quantum field fluctuations that some researchers believe represent the actual substrate of Pressbach's consciousness and memory. The extraction process itself, according to those who claim to have witnessed it, resembles a combination of advanced medical procedure and quantum physics experiment. Subjects are placed within the monitoring chamber while arrays of quantum sensors create detailed maps of neural activity patterns associated with specific memories. The technology reportedly can identify and isolate memory clusters that correspond to particular experiences, emotions, or knowledge sets, allowing researchers to extract specific information while leaving other memories intact. One former technician, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing an extraction session where researchers accessed what appeared to be centuries of memories from a recovered extraterrestrial specimen. The process took several hours and required constant monitoring of vital signs that operated on principles different from human physiology. As the extraction proceeded, data streams displayed on monitoring equipment showed memory patterns that suggested experiences spanning vast periods of time and involving technologies that human science could barely comprehend. The data storage systems required for preserving extracted memories allegedly represent advances in quantum computing that exceed publicly available technology by decades. Memory patterns, witnesses claim, are stored as quantum field configurations that maintain coherence through specialized containment systems. These quantum memory banks reportedly require superconducting materials and electromagnetic shielding that create environments where extracted consciousness data can remain stable for extended periods without degradation. Analysis of extracted alien memories, according to insider testimonies, reveals thought patterns and experiential frameworks that challenge fundamental assumptions about consciousness and intelligence. Some memories reportedly contain mathematical concepts that exceed human understanding, technical knowledge of technologies that operate on physical principles unknown to terrestrial science, and historical perspectives that span geological timescales. The analysis process allegedly requires specially trained personnel who undergo psychological conditioning to prepare them for exposure to truly alien ways of thinking. Perhaps most disturbing are accounts of extraction sessions, where the boundary between observer and subject becomes blurred. Some researchers allegedly report experiencing fragments of alien memories during prolonged exposure to extracted consciousness data, suggesting that memory patterns can somehow transfer from quantum storage systems to human neural networks through mechanisms that remain poorly understood. These incidents reportedly require immediate medical intervention and extended psychological evaluation to prevent permanent cognitive contamination. The technological infrastructure supporting memory extraction allegedly includes quantum field generators that can create localized distortions in space-time around examination chambers. These fields, according to some accounts, appear to facilitate consciousness transfer by creating conditions where memory patterns can be accessed and analyzed without the normal constraints of biological neural networks. The energy requirements for maintaining such fields reportedly require dedicated power systems that operate beyond the capacity of conventional electrical generation. Ethical review protocols for memory extraction research, if such programs exist, allegedly operate under guidelines that have no equivalent in conventional medical or scientific research. questions arise about consent from beings who may not understand the implications of memory extraction, the rights of specimens who may be conscious but unable to communicate their wishes, and the psychological impact on researchers who are exposed to memories and experiences that span centuries or millennia of alien existence. Storage and security for extracted memory data reportedly requires facilities that combine the most advanced quantum computing systems with biological containment protocols designed for materials that might affect human consciousness. Through proximity exposure, memory storage vaults are allegedly lined with materials that prevent quantum field leakage while maintaining the precise environmental conditions necessary to preserve consciousness data in coherent form. Access to these vaults reportedly requires multiple levels of authorization and psychological evaluation to ensure that personnel can safely interact with stored alien memories. The applications of memory extraction technology, according to various theories proposed by those who study these claims, extend far beyond simple intelligence gathering. Extracted memories might provide insights into alien technologies, historical perspectives on Earth's development from extraterrestrial viewpoints, and knowledge of other worlds and civilizations that could revolutionize human understanding of the universe. Some accounts suggest that certain extracted memories contain technical specifications for technologies that could advance human civilization by centuries. Perhaps most controversially, some insider testimonies describe attempts to integrate extracted alien memories with human consciousness through reverse memory transfer protocols. These experiments allegedly involve carefully selected human volunteers who undergo procedures designed to temporarily access alien memory patterns while maintaining their essential human identity. The goal, according to these accounts, is to create individuals who possess alien knowledge while retaining human perspective and psychological stability. The psychological impact on memory extraction subjects, whether alien or human, reportedly varies dramatically, depending on the extent and duration of extraction procedures. Some subjects allegedly experience no apparent ill effects, while others display signs of consciousness fragmentation or identity displacement that require extended observation and care. The most severe cases reportedly involve subjects who appear to lose access to their own memories while retaining only extracted consciousness patterns, creating beings that exist in a state between their original identity and foreign memory structures. Quality assurance for memory extraction procedures allegedly involves verification protocols that compare extracted memories with independent sources of information when available. Memories containing technical specifications are tested against physical evidence from recovered craft or materials, while historical memories are cross-referenced with archaeological evidence or other witness testimonies. The accuracy rate of extracted memories reportedly exceeds 90% when independent verification is possible, suggesting that the extraction process successfully preserves authentic consciousness data. Critics argue that consciousness and memory remain too poorly understood for extraction technology to be feasible with current scientific knowledge. They point out that memory appears to be distributed throughout neural networks in ways that make isolated extraction unlikely, and that consciousness itself may involve quantum effects that cannot be preserved outside biological systems. The absence of verifiable evidence for memory extraction technology, they suggest, indicates that reports represent speculation rather than documented scientific achievement. Yet the consistency of technical descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific details about quantum field manipulation, and consciousness monitoring equipment, and the logical progression from consciousness research to memory extraction continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in laboratories equipped with technology that exceeds publicly available science. Whether memory extraction protocols represent genuine scientific achievement or elaborate fiction, the concept raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness, identity, and what defines individual existence. In the quantum silence of these alleged laboratories, where memories become data and consciousness exists as field patterns waiting to be analyzed, researchers may be unlocking the deepest secrets of what it means to be aware. Whether those secrets represent humanity's greatest intellectual achievement or cross ethical boundaries that should never be violated remains an open question in the desert darkness, where consciousness itself becomes another variable, to be studied, extracted, and perhaps ultimately understood. In our next chapter, we explore experiments that blur the line between human and alien even further, where biological integration goes beyond genetics to create individuals who possess capabilities that transcend the limitations of purely human physiology. Chapter 6: Biological Integration Experiments. In the medical wings of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where the sterile precision of advanced surgical suites meets technology that operates beyond the boundaries of conventional medicine, some claim there exists a program that represents the ultimate convergence of human ambition and extraterrestrial biology. Here, in chambers where atmospheric composition can be precisely controlled and electromagnetic fields create environments that allow cellular modification at the molecular level, researchers allegedly conduct experiments that transform human volunteers into something that transcends the normal limitations of terrestrial physiology. The biological integration program, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the 1980s, began as a natural extension of research conducted on recovered alien specimens and hybrid development projects. As scientists gained understanding of extraterrestrial biological systems and their apparent advantages over human physiology, the question inevitably arose: could these enhancements be integrated into living human subjects while maintaining psychological stability and essential human identity? The volunteer selection process for biological integration allegedly involves psychological and physical screening that exceeds anything found in conventional medical research. Candidates reportedly undergo months of evaluation to assess not just their physical compatibility with alien biological systems, but their psychological resilience to fundamental changes in sensory perception, cognitive capacity, and physical capabilities. Only individuals who demonstrate exceptional mental stability and adaptability are considered suitable for integration procedures that might permanently alter their basic human nature. The integration chambers described by alleged witnesses represent medical technology that combines advanced surgical capabilities with alien-derived biological systems. Operating theaters where gravitational fields can be adjusted to facilitate delicate cellular manipulation, atmospheric controls that maintain precise gas mixtures to support both human and alien biological functions, and monitoring equipment capable of tracking physiological changes at the cellular level throughout extended integration procedures that might require weeks or months to complete safely. Neural enhancement procedures allegedly represent the most commonly attempted integration, focusing on improvements to human cognitive capacity through incorporation of alien neural structures. Witnesses describe surgeries where additional neural tissue, cultivated using alien genetic templates, is carefully integrated with existing human brain structures. The process reportedly requires precise electromagnetic field manipulation to ensure that alien neural networks successfully interface with human consciousness while avoiding rejection responses that could prove fatal. The cognitive improvements reported in successful neural integration subjects allegedly include enhanced memory retention that approaches perfect recall, processing speeds that allow complex problem solving at rates that seem almost precognitive, and pattern recognition capabilities that extend far beyond normal human ranges. Some subjects reportedly develop limited telepathic sensitivity, though whether this represents genuine extrasensory perception or simply enhanced ability to read subtle environmental and social cues remains unclear even to the researchers conducting these experiments. Physical enhancement through biological integration allegedly focuses on improvements to human strength, endurance, and environmental adaptability using alien physiological systems. Witnesses describe procedures where human muscle tissue is enhanced with alien cellular structures that provide greater efficiency and resilience, skeletal modifications that increase structural strength while reducing overall weight, and cardiovascular improvements that allow subjects to function effectively in atmospheric conditions that would be lethal to unmodified humans. Sensory enhancement represents perhaps the most dramatic category of biological integration, according to alleged insider accounts. Procedures that modify human sensory organs to perceive electromagnetic spectra invisible to normal human vision, auditory enhancements that extend hearing ranges into frequencies used for alien communication, and tactile modifications that allow subjects to detect electromagnetic fields, gravitational variations, and quantum fluctuations through direct physical contact with materials or environments. One former medical technician, speaking anonymously in the late 1990s, described assisting with an integration procedure where a volunteer received optical modifications that allowed vision across a much broader electromagnetic spectrum. The process reportedly involved replacing portions of the subject's retinal tissue with alien-derived photoreceptors while maintaining neural connections that allowed the enhanced visual data to be processed by human brain. Structures. The resulting capabilities included infrared and ultraviolet vision, electromagnetic field detection, and the ability to perceive quantum field fluctuations around certain materials. The recovery and adaptation process for integration subjects allegedly requires extended observation in controlled environments, where subjects learn to function with enhanced capabilities while maintaining psychological stability. Recovery facilities reportedly include specialized housing that can simulate various environmental conditions, training areas where subjects practice using their enhanced abilities, and psychological support systems designed to help individuals adapt to fundamental changes in their sensory and cognitive capabilities. Rejection protocols for failed integration procedures allegedly involve medical interventions that go far beyond conventional surgical techniques. Some subjects reportedly experience biological incompatibility between human and alien systems that requires immediate removal of integrated materials, using technology that can precisely separate alien cellular structures from human tissue. Without causing permanent damage, the success rate for biological integration reportedly varies dramatically depending on the specific enhancement being attempted and the individual subject's compatibility with alien biological systems. Long-term monitoring of successful integration subjects allegedly reveals both anticipated benefits and unexpected complications that require ongoing medical attention. Enhanced subjects reportedly require modified nutritional support to sustain alien biological systems, specialized medical care to maintain integration stability, and regular evaluation to ensure that alien biological components continue to function properly within human physiological frameworks. Some subjects allegedly develop dependencies on specific electromagnetic frequencies or atmospheric conditions that make normal social integration challenging. The psychological impact of biological integration allegedly varies significantly among subjects, with some adapting successfully to enhanced capabilities, while others experience identity displacement or consciousness fragmentation that requires extensive psychological intervention. Enhanced sensory capabilities reportedly can be particularly challenging, as subjects must learn to filter and process sensory information that exceeds normal human ranges, while avoiding sensory overload that could result in psychological breakdown. Security protocols for integration subjects allegedly include monitoring systems that track enhanced individuals throughout their lives to ensure that their capabilities are not misused and that their enhanced biology remains stable. Some accounts describe suburban housing facilities that appear to be normal residential communities, but are actually controlled environments where enhanced subjects live under constant observation while learning to integrate with normal today human society. The applications of biological integration technology, according to various theories proposed by those who study these claims, extend far beyond simple human enhancement. Enhanced individuals might serve as intermediaries between human and alien cultures, operators for recovered alien technology that requires non-human capabilities, or advanced scouts for human expansion into environments where normal human physiology would be inadequate for survival. Perhaps most controversially, some accounts suggest that certain integration subjects have been placed into normal human society without public knowledge of their enhanced nature. These individuals allegedly undergo extensive training to conceal their capabilities while serving as long-term assets for intelligence gathering, technology development, or other classified purposes that require enhanced human capabilities operating within normal social frameworks. The ethical implications of biological integration research, if such programs exist, raise fundamental questions about human identity, individual autonomy, and the rights of enhanced beings who may no longer be entirely human. Concerns arise about informed consent for procedures that permanently alter basic human nature, the psychological impact of fundamental biological changes, and the social implications of creating enhanced humans who possess capabilities far exceeding normal human ranges. Quality control for integration procedures allegedly involves verification protocols that monitor enhanced subjects for extended periods to ensure that biological modifications remain stable and functional. Integration success is reportedly measured not just by the functionality of enhanced capabilities, but by subjects' ability to maintain psychological stability and social integration while adapting to fundamental changes in their biological and cognitive capabilities. Critics argue that the biological complexity involved in successfully integrating alien cellular structures with human physiology would present insurmountable challenges given current understanding of cellular biology and immunology. They point out that even closely related species typically experience rejection responses when biological materials are transplanted, making successful integration between humans and beings that evolved on entirely different worlds extremely unlikely with any conceivable technology. Yet, the consistency of enhancement descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific details about integration procedures and recovery protocols, and the logical progression from alien biology research to human enhancement applications continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in medical facilities equipped with technology that operates beyond publicly available science. Whether biological integration represents the future of human enhancement or remains purely speculative, the concept raises profound questions about the nature of human identity and the boundaries of acceptable medical intervention. In the sterile silence of these alleged integration chambers, where the boundary between human and alien becomes increasingly meaningless, researchers may be creating the first representatives of a new form of humanity that possesses capabilities extending far beyond normal terrestrial limitations. Whether these enhanced beings represent humanity's next evolutionary step or a dangerous deviation from essential human nature remains an open question in the controlled environments where science pushes beyond every biological process. Boundary. In our next chapter, we explore experiments that reach beyond individual enhancement to attempt something even more ambitious: establishing meaningful communication with intelligences whose thought patterns evolved under alien stars, using protocols that challenge our understanding of language, consciousness, and what it truly means to communicate across the vast gulf that separates different forms of awareness. Chapter 7: Communication Protocols with Non-Human Intelligence. In the deepest chambers of Area 51's alleged underground complex, behind electromagnetic shielding so complete that no signal can penetrate from the outside world, some claim there exists a laboratory dedicated to humanity's most ambitious undertaking: establishing meaningful communication with intelligences whose thought patterns evolved under alien stars. Here, in rooms where every surface absorbs stray electromagnetic radiation, and silence becomes so complete you can hear your own heartbeat, researchers allegedly attempt to bridge the vast cognitive gulf that separates human consciousness from minds that may be thousands or even millions of years more advanced than our own. The Communication Protocols Program, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the 1970s, began as scientists recognized that recovered alien technology appeared to respond to specific interaction patterns that suggested underlying intelligence rather than simple mechanical function. Equipment that activated in response to particular thought patterns, materials that seemed to anticipate operator intentions, and devices that displayed behavior consistent with learning and adaptation led researchers to conclude that successful operation of alien technology might require direct communication with non-human consciousness. The communication chambers described by alleged witnesses represent acoustic and electromagnetic engineering that exceeds anything found in conventional research facilities. Spherical rooms where every surface is precisely calculated to eliminate acoustic reflections, electromagnetic shielding that creates environments completely isolated from Earth's natural electromagnetic field, and atmospheric control systems that can replicate the environmental conditions of worlds where alien consciousness evolved. These chambers allegedly provide the clean electromagnetic environment necessary for detecting and interpreting the subtle signals associated with non-human intelligence. Mathematical communication represents the foundation of most contact protocols, according to insider accounts. Researchers reportedly begin contact attempts using universal mathematical concepts that should be recognizable to any intelligence capable of developing space travel technology. Prime number sequences, geometric relationships, and physical constants serve as starting points for establishing basic conceptual frameworks that can gradually expand into more complex information exchange protocols. The mathematical sequences used in communication attempts allegedly progress from simple arithmetic to advanced concepts that test the responding intelligence's understanding of physics, chemistry, and cosmology. Researchers reportedly transmit sequences representing atomic structures, gravitational relationships, and quantum mechanical principles, while monitoring for responses that indicate comprehension and the ability to provide information beyond human understanding. Success is measured not just by response, but by the complexity and accuracy of mathematical concepts included in reply sequences. Color-based communication protocols, allegedly developed after researchers observed that certain alien specimens appeared to respond more readily to specific light frequencies than to acoustic or electromagnetic signals. Communication chambers, equipped with programmable light arrays, reportedly attempt contact using color sequences that represent mathematical concepts, emotional states, or abstract ideas. The assumption underlying these protocols is that color perception might represent a more universal communication medium than sound-based language systems that depend on atmospheric transmission. One former communications specialist, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing a breakthrough session where mathematical transmission elicited a response that exceeded anything researchers had anticipated. The alien intelligence reportedly responded with mathematical sequences that solved theoretical physics problems human science had been unable to resolve, including equations that appeared to describe unified field theory and gravitational manipulation principles that could revolutionize human understanding of space-time mechanics. Telepathic interface experiments allegedly represent the most advanced communication protocols, attempting direct consciousness-to-consciousness contact using technology that amplifies and focuses human telepathic potential. These experiments reportedly involve human subjects who undergo training to enhance their natural psychic sensitivity while using alien-derived amplification equipment that creates direct neural interface connections between human and non-human consciousness. The goal is bypassing language entirely to achieve direct transfer of concepts, emotions, and complex ideas. The interface equipment used in telepathic communication allegedly combines human neurology monitoring with alien consciousness detection technology that can identify and amplify the quantum field fluctuations associated with telepathic transmission. Subjects reportedly wear specialized headsets that monitor neural activity while generating electromagnetic fields that enhance telepathic sensitivity and provide direct interface connections to alien consciousness patterns detected in recovered specimens or active communication attempts. Response analysis for non-human communication attempts allegedly requires interpretation protocols that go far beyond conventional linguistic analysis. Alien responses reportedly arrive in formats that don't correspond to human language structures, mathematical notation, or visual information processing. Some responses appear to be transmitted as pure conceptual information that bypasses sensory processing entirely, requiring specially trained interpreters who can receive and translate alien thought patterns into forms comprehensible to human consciousness. The temporal aspects of alien communication allegedly present unique challenges for human researchers attempting to establish meaningful contact. Some intelligences reportedly think in timescales measured in centuries or millennia, making real-time communication impossible through conventional protocols. Other alien consciousness patterns allegedly operate at accelerated temporal rates that compress vast amounts of information into brief transmission windows that challenge human ability to receive and process incoming data. Consciousness compatibility testing allegedly involves screening human subjects for telepathic sensitivity, while ensuring psychological stability sufficient to withstand direct contact with genuinely alien intelligence. Some subjects reportedly experience consciousness displacement or identity fragmentation during telepathic interface experiments, suggesting that direct contact with advanced alien awareness can overwhelm human psychological defenses designed for interaction with terrestrial consciousness patterns only. The linguistic analysis of alien communication attempts allegedly reveals thought patterns and conceptual frameworks that challenge fundamental assumptions about intelligence, logic, and information processing. Some alien responses reportedly contain parallel processing elements that suggest consciousness capable of considering multiple contradictory concepts simultaneously, while others display temporal thinking patterns that appear to process past, present, and future information as equally accessible datasets. Cultural exchange protocols allegedly focus on transmitting information about human civilization while requesting corresponding data about alien societies, technologies, and historical development. These exchanges reportedly involve complex information packages that include human artistic expression, scientific achievements, social structures, and philosophical concepts, while requesting alien perspectives on comparable aspects of extraterrestrial civilization development. Perhaps most significantly, some communication attempts allegedly achieve sustained contact that continues over extended periods, suggesting the establishment of ongoing dialogue between human researchers and alien intelligence. These extended conversations reportedly focus on technology transfer, historical information about Earth's development from alien perspectives, and philosophical discussions about consciousness, existence, and the nature of intelligence throughout the universe. The security implications of successful alien communication allegedly require protocols that ensure sensitive information about human capabilities and vulnerabilities is not inadvertently transmitted during contact attempts. Communication sessions reportedly operate under strict guidelines that limit discussion topics, while maximizing information acquisition about alien technology, science, and intentions regarding Earth and human civilization. Translation protocols for alien communication allegedly involve computer systems that learn to interpret non-human linguistic patterns through analysis of response sequences and contextual information provided during extended contact sessions. These systems reportedly develop increasingly sophisticated understanding of alien thought patterns, eventually achieving translation capabilities that allow complex philosophical and technical discussions between human and alien consciousness. The psychological impact on human subjects involved in successful alien communication allegedly varies dramatically depending on the nature and duration of contact experiences. Some subjects reportedly adapt successfully to regular communication with alien intelligence, while others experience cognitive displacement that affects their ability to function effectively in normal human social environments. Extended contact apparently requires psychological support systems designed specifically for individuals who maintain regular communication with non-human intelligence. Quality verification for alien communication allegedly involves cross-referencing technical information received through communication protocols with data obtained through analysis of recovered alien technology and materials. Communication-derived information about alien propulsion systems, materials, science, and engineering principles reportedly demonstrates accuracy rates that exceed chance correlation, suggesting genuine information transfer rather than random response generation. Critics argue that apparent alien communication could represent misinterpretation of random signals, technological malfunction, or psychological projection by human subjects eager to achieve meaningful contact. They point out that complex mathematical sequences and conceptual information could be generated through subconscious human mental processes rather than genuine alien intelligence response. The absence of independently verifiable alien communication transcripts, they suggest, indicates that reported contact represents wishful thinking rather than genuine interspecies dialogue. Yet the consistency of communication protocols across multiple alleged programs, the specific technical details provided in contact transcripts, and the logical progression from basic mathematical contact to complex philosophical dialogue continue to fuel speculation about what might be achieved in communication facilities equipped with technology that exceeds publicly available science. Whether alien communication represents genuine contact with extraterrestrial intelligence or remains purely theoretical, the concept raises profound questions about consciousness, intelligence, and humanity's place in a universe that may contain forms of awareness beyond current understanding. In the electromagnetic silence of these alleged communication chambers, where human consciousness reaches across the vast gulf separating species and worlds, researchers may be establishing the first meaningful dialogue between terrestrial and extraterrestrial intelligence. Whether these conversations represent humanity's greatest achievement or remain forever locked in classified transcripts depends on questions of security, social readiness, and perhaps the alien intelligence's own assessment of whether humanity is prepared for full disclosure of our cosmic neighbors. In our next chapter, we venture into experiments that challenge our understanding of reality itself, where researchers allegedly attempt to replicate the most mysterious aspect of alien technology: the ability to travel impossible distances by manipulating the very fabric of space and time through dimensional gateway research that could revolutionize human understanding of the universe itself. Chapter 8: The Dimensional Gateway Research. In the most exotic laboratories of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where the laws of physics become suggestions rather than immutable rules, some claim there exists a research program that pushes beyond every boundary of human understanding to explore the fundamental nature of space and time itself. Here, in chambers where reality becomes malleable and distance loses all meaning, researchers allegedly attempt to replicate the most mysterious aspect of alien technology: the ability to traverse impossible distances not by traveling through space, but by bringing distant locations closer through manipulation of dimensional barriers that separate one region of the universe from another. The Dimensional Gateway Research Program, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the 1990s, began when scientists analyzing recovered alien propulsion systems discovered that the craft appeared to operate on principles that had nothing to do with conventional thrust or acceleration. Instead of moving through space in linear fashion, the technology seemed to create localized distortions in space-time that allowed instantaneous translation between distant points without the normal constraints of velocity, acceleration, or the fundamental limitation that nothing can travel faster than light. The experimental chambers designed for dimensional research allegedly represent engineering achievements that exceed anything found in conventional physics laboratories. Spherical rooms where every surface is lined with exotic matter configurations that can generate controlled gravitational fields, electromagnetic containment systems capable of maintaining stable space-time distortions, and monitoring equipment that can detect and measure dimensional fluctuations at quantum scales. These chambers reportedly require power systems that exceed the output of conventional nuclear reactors, drawing energy directly from controlled antimatter reactions or exotic matter configurations. The theoretical foundation for dimensional gateway research allegedly builds on principles derived from alien technology analysis, combined with advanced human theoretical physics that remains decades ahead of publicly available science. Researchers reportedly work with mathematical models that describe space-time as a multidimensional construct, where apparent distances between points can be reduced through careful manipulation of gravitational fields, electromagnetic resonance patterns, and quantum field configurations that create temporary bridges between distant locations. Space manipulation experiments allegedly begin with small-scale tests designed to create microscopic tears in local space-time fabric. Witnesses describe observing chambers where the walls appear to stretch and distort, creating visual effects that suggest the normal geometry of three-dimensional space no longer applies within the experimental environment. These initial experiments reportedly focus on understanding how exotic matter fields interact with space-time curvature to create conditions where distance becomes a variable rather than a fixed constraint. One former physicist, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing a dimensional gateway experiment where researchers successfully created a stable portal, approximately 3 feet in diameter, that provided a direct view into what appeared to be a location thousands of miles away. The portal reportedly remained stable for several minutes, allowing detailed observation and measurement before collapsing back to normal space-time configuration. The energy requirements for maintaining portal stability allegedly required the facility's entire power grid operating at maximum capacity. The visualization effects observed during gateway experiments allegedly challenge observers' ability to process sensory information from environments where normal spatial relationships no longer function. Witnesses describe rooms where walls seem to extend infinitely in directions that shouldn't exist, where multiple distant locations become visible simultaneously through overlapping dimensional windows, and where movement within the chamber can result in appearing at entirely different geographical locations without any sensation of travel or displacement. Portal stability represents one of the most significant technical challenges in dimensional gateway research, according to insider accounts. Early experiments reportedly produced highly unstable dimensional tiers that collapsed within seconds, releasing energy discharges that required extensive chamber shielding to contain safely. Achieving stable portals that remain open for extended periods allegedly requires precise control of multiple exotic matter field generators, operating in perfect synchronization while maintaining exact electromagnetic frequency patterns derived from alien technology analysis. The targeting accuracy for dimensional gateways allegedly depends on complex calculations that account for planetary rotation, orbital mechanics, and gravitational field variations that affect portal destination coordinates. Researchers reportedly must compensate for Earth's movement through space when creating gateways to specific distant locations, requiring real-time computational systems that can adjust portal parameters to maintain accurate targeting despite continuous changes in relative position between origin and destination points. Safety protocols for dimensional gateway experiments allegedly exceed those required for nuclear weapons research, given the potential for catastrophic space-time disruption if portal stability systems fail during high-energy experiments. Emergency containment procedures reportedly include rapid portal collapse protocols, space-time stabilization systems designed to repair dimensional tears that expand beyond acceptable parameters, and evacuation procedures for personnel who might become trapped in unstable dimensional spaces during portal collapse events. The range limitations for dimensional gateways allegedly vary dramatically, depending on the energy levels applied to exotic matter field generators and the specific configuration of space-time manipulation equipment. Small-scale experiments reportedly achieve portal ranges measured in hundreds of miles, while theoretical maximum ranges could extend to other star systems given sufficient exotic matter fuel and power generation capabilities. The practical limitations appear to be energy requirements rather than fundamental physical constraints on portal range. Temporal effects associated with dimensional gateway operation allegedly include time dilation phenomena, where time flows at different rates within portal environments compared to normal space-time. Some experiments reportedly result in personnel experiencing hours of subjective time while only minutes pass in normal reality, suggesting that dimensional manipulation affects temporal flow as well as spatial relationships. These temporal anomalies require careful monitoring to prevent personnel from becoming trapped in time-dilated dimensional spaces. The reconnaissance applications of dimensional gateway technology allegedly allow direct observation of distant locations without the normal constraints of travel time or detection risk. Military applications reportedly include surveillance capabilities that could revolutionize intelligence gathering, while scientific applications could provide direct access to other worlds, star systems, or even other dimensions where different physical laws might apply. The strategic implications of such technology would represent advantages comparable to achieving nuclear weapons monopoly. Communication through dimensional gateways allegedly allows instantaneous information transfer across arbitrary distances, potentially enabling faster-than-light communication that could revolutionize everything from military coordination to space exploration logistics. Messages transmitted through stable portals reportedly arrive instantaneously regardless of the distance between origin and destination points, suggesting that dimensional gateway technology could solve the communication delay problems that currently limit human space exploration efforts. Perhaps most remarkably, some experiments allegedly achieve glimpses of other worlds and civilizations through dimensional windows that provide direct observation of alien environments. These observations reportedly include views of technological civilizations, alien landscapes, and astronomical phenomena that exceed anything observable through conventional telescopic methods. The scientific value of such direct observation capabilities could advance human understanding of the universe by centuries. The psychological impact on personnel involved in dimensional gateway research allegedly includes disorientation effects, temporal displacement sensations, and difficulty readjusting to normal space-time perception after extended exposure to dimensional anomalies. Some researchers reportedly experience persistent perception alterations that affect their ability to navigate normal three-dimensional environments, requiring psychological support and extended recovery periods before returning to conventional work assignments. Quality control for dimensional gateway experiments allegedly involves verification protocols that confirm portal destinations and ensure dimensional stability before personnel or equipment transit attempts. Portal mapping procedures reportedly use robotic probes to verify destination safety and atmospheric conditions, while dimensional stability monitoring ensures that portals remain coherent long enough for safe transit operations. Failed experiments reportedly require extensive facility decontamination to eliminate residual dimensional field effects. The technological applications of successful dimensional gateway research allegedly extend far beyond transportation to include manufacturing processes that could access materials from other worlds, energy generation systems that could tap power sources from different dimensional regions, and waste disposal methods that could eliminate hazardous materials by transferring them to uninhabited dimensional spaces where they pose no threat to Earth's environment. Critics argue that dimensional gateway technology would require control over fundamental forces and energy scales that exceed anything achievable with current or foreseeable technology. They point out that creating stable wormholes or dimensional tiers would require exotic matter with properties that may not exist in nature, energy levels comparable to stellar output, and understanding of physics that remains purely theoretical. The absence of verified dimensional gateway demonstrations, they suggest, indicates that such technology remains in the realm of science fiction rather than achievable science. Yet the consistency of dimensional research descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific technical details about exotic matter field manipulation and space-time distortion effects, and the logical progression from alien propulsion analysis to dimensional gateway development continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in laboratories equipped with technology and materials that operate beyond publicly available science. Whether dimensional gateway research represents the ultimate achievement of human science or remains purely speculative, the concept raises profound questions about the nature of space, time, and the fundamental structure of reality itself. In the dimensional silence of these alleged laboratories, where space becomes fluid and distance loses all meaning, researchers may be unlocking the ultimate secret of traversing the vast cosmos without the normal constraints of time and space. Whether these gateways represent humanity's path to the stars or remain forever locked behind containment fields in underground chambers depends on questions of safety, control, and perhaps our readiness to step through doorways that lead to anywhere in the universe. In our next chapter, we explore how the theoretical becomes practical, where decades of alien technology analysis finally yields results that can be tested, refined, and perhaps even deployed in systems that bring the benefits of extraterrestrial science into human hands through reverse-engineered technology testing that pushes the boundaries of what human engineering can achieve. Chapter 9. Reverse-engineered technology testing. In the testing facilities of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where failure could mean catastrophic energy release or dimensional instability, some claim there exists a program dedicated to the most ambitious undertaking in human history, transforming theoretical understanding of alien technology into practical systems that human engineers can build, operate, and ultimately deploy. Here, in chambers designed to contain explosions that could level city blocks and electromagnetic pulses that could disable electronics for hundreds of miles, researchers allegedly attempt to bridge the vast technological gap between recovered extraterrestrial systems and human manufacturing capabilities. The reverse engineering testing program, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the late 1980s, represents the culmination of decades spent analyzing alien materials, propulsion systems, and energy generation methods. Unlike the pure research conducted in other facility sections, these laboratories focus on practical application, creating human-built prototypes that replicate alien capabilities using materials and manufacturing techniques that exist within human technological capacity, even if that capacity remains decades ahead of publicly available science. The testing chambers, designed for reverse-engineered technology evaluation, allegedly represent the ultimate in experimental safety engineering. Blast-resistant spherical chambers buried deep beneath the desert floor, electromagnetic containment systems capable of absorbing energy releases equivalent to nuclear detonations, and automated safety protocols that can instantly isolate failed experiments before catastrophic damage spreads to surrounding facility areas. These chambers reportedly operate under negative pressure, with multiple redundant containment systems designed to prevent any experimental byproducts from escaping into the external environment. Silent propulsion system testing allegedly represents one of the most successful areas of reverse engineering research, focusing on replicating the gravitational field manipulation technology observed in recovered alien craft. Human-built prototypes reportedly use exotic matter configurations derived from alien samples to generate localized gravitational distortions that allow aircraft to hover silently and move without any conventional propulsion. Signature. The testing process allegedly involves gradually scaling up from small tabletop demonstrations to full-size aircraft prototypes capable of carrying human crews. One former aerospace engineer, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing tests of a human-built prototype that successfully achieved silent hovering flight using gravitational field manipulation rather than conventional lift generation. The aircraft reportedly remained completely silent during operation, while demonstrating instantaneous acceleration and deceleration capabilities that exceeded anything achievable with conventional propulsion technology. The prototype allegedly remained airborne for over 6 hours during its longest test flight, demonstrating practical viability for extended operations. Materials science applications allegedly focus on replicating alien substances that can alter their molecular structure on command, creating materials that shift between different physical states depending on electromagnetic field exposure or operator commands. Human-manufactured versions reportedly achieve limited success in duplicating these effects, creating alloys that can change from rigid to flexible, opaque to transparent, or conductive to insulating based on specific activation protocols derived from studying alien material samples. The molecular transformation testing allegedly involves carefully controlled experiments where prototype materials undergo structural changes while researchers monitor every aspect of the transformation process. Safety protocols reportedly include containment systems designed to handle materials that might become unstable during transformation, monitoring equipment that tracks molecular level changes in real time, and emergency protocols for rapidly neutralizing materials that undergo unexpected or dangerous structural alterations during testing procedures. Energy generation research allegedly focuses on replicating alien power systems that appear to draw energy directly from quantum field fluctuations rather than conventional fuel sources. Human-built prototypes reportedly achieve limited success in tapping zero-point energy fields, generating modest amounts of electrical power through quantum field manipulation techniques derived from analyzing alien energy generation technology. The power output levels allegedly remain far below alien system efficiency, but demonstrate the fundamental viability of quantum energy extraction for practical applications. The quantum energy testing chambers allegedly require specialized shielding to prevent quantum field disruption that could interfere with sensitive experimental equipment or create dangerous energy feedback loops. Testing protocols reportedly involve gradually increasing energy extraction levels while monitoring for quantum field instabilities that could result in uncontrolled energy release or space-time distortion effects that exceed containment system capabilities. Structural engineering applications allegedly include materials that demonstrate self-repair capabilities derived from alien technology analysis. Human-manufactured versions reportedly achieve limited self-healing properties, creating alloys that can automatically seal small fractures or holes through molecular reorganization processes activated by damage detection systems, while not achieving the complete regeneration observed in alien materials. These prototypes allegedly demonstrate practical applications for spacecraft and aircraft that must operate in environments where conventional repair is impossible. Navigation and control system reverse engineering allegedly focuses on replicating alien interface technology that responds to operator thought patterns rather than mechanical controls. Human-built prototypes reportedly use neural interface systems combined with quantum field detection equipment to create control surfaces that respond to pilot intentions transmitted through specialized helmets or direct neural contact interfaces. The response time allegedly approaches instantaneous reaction to pilot commands, creating aircraft control systems that exceed human reaction speed limitations. The testing protocols for neural interface systems allegedly involve extensive psychological evaluation of test pilots to ensure compatibility with alien-derived control technology. Some pilots reportedly experience consciousness expansion effects during interface operation, developing enhanced spatial awareness and reaction capabilities that persist even when disconnected from the alien technology systems. These side effects allegedly require ongoing medical monitoring to ensure pilot safety and psychological stability. Weapons application testing allegedly remains one of the most classified aspects of reverse engineering research, focusing on replicating alien energy projection systems observed in recovered technology samples. Human-built prototypes reportedly achieve limited success in creating directed energy weapons that use exotic matter field generation to project destructive force over long distances without conventional ammunition or explosive materials. The power requirements allegedly exceed conventional energy generation capabilities, limiting practical deployment to stationary installations with dedicated power systems. The electromagnetic pulse generation capabilities, allegedly derived from alien technology analysis, could revolutionize both offensive and defensive military applications. Human-built prototypes reportedly can generate electromagnetic fields powerful enough to disable electronic equipment over wide areas, while remaining compact enough for aircraft or ground vehicle deployment. Testing allegedly requires extensive shielding to prevent EMP effects from damaging the testing facility's own electronic systems. Manufacturing scalability represents one of the greatest challenges in reverse engineering alien technology, according to insider accounts. While researchers allegedly achieve limited success in creating prototype systems that replicate alien capabilities, scaling production to practical deployment levels requires manufacturing techniques and exotic material quantities that exceed current human industrial capacity. Some prototypes reportedly require rare elements or processing techniques that make mass production economically or technically unfeasible with current technology. Quality control for reverse-engineered technology allegedly involves comparison testing between human-built prototypes and original alien systems to verify performance accuracy and identify areas requiring further emerities. Development. Success rates reportedly vary dramatically depending on the complexity of the technology being replicated, with simple materials achieving higher replication success than complex integrated systems that involve multiple exotic technologies working in coordination. The integration challenges of combining alien-derived technology with human engineering systems allegedly require extensive compatibility testing to ensure that exotic matter components function reliably within conventional aircraft, spacecraft, or ground vehicle platforms. Some alien technology reportedly interferes with human electronic systems, requiring specialized shielding or isolation systems that add complexity and weight to practical deployment configurations. Performance benchmarking for reverse-engineered systems allegedly demonstrates capabilities that exceed conventional technology by significant margins while remaining below the performance levels achieved by original alien systems. Human-built gravitational propulsion reportedly achieves silent flight and rapid acceleration, but requires larger power systems and exotic matter fuel that limits operational range compared to alien craft. Materials engineering allegedly achieves partial molecular transformation, but lacks the complete adaptability observed in alien substances. The field testing phase for successful prototypes allegedly involves carefully controlled deployment in remote areas where advanced technology can be evaluated under realistic operational conditions without risk of public exposure. Test flights reportedly occur during optimal weather conditions, with extensive monitoring and recovery systems prepared for any prototype failures that could result in technology loss or exposure. Perhaps most significantly, some reverse engineering projects allegedly achieve sufficient success to warrant limited production runs for special operations applications. These systems reportedly remain classified at the highest levels, while providing human forces with capabilities that approach alien technology performance in specific operational scenarios. The strategic advantage provided by such systems allegedly represents military superiority comparable to achieving nuclear weapons monopoly. Critics argue that the technological gap between human engineering capability and alleged alien technology would make successful reverse engineering impossible within any reasonable time frame. They point out that even understanding alien technology would require scientific advances that could take centuries to achieve, while manufacturing alien-derived systems would require industrial capabilities that exceed current human capacity by orders of magnitude. The absence of obvious technological revolutions in public technology, they suggest, indicates that reverse engineering efforts remain unsuccessful. Yet the consistency of testing descriptions across multiple alleged witnesses, the specific technical details about prototype performance and manufacturing challenges, and the logical progression from alien technology analysis to human replication attempts continue to fuel speculation about what might be achieved in testing facilities equipped with resources and expertise that operate beyond publicly available science. Whether reverse engineering represents genuine technological breakthrough or remains purely theoretical, the concept raises profound questions about humanity's technological future and our readiness to wield power that could transform civilization itself. In the controlled chaos of these alleged testing chambers, where the line between human engineering and alien science disappears in clouds of exotic energy and gravitational distortion, researchers may be building the foundation for humanity's next technological revolution. Whether these prototypes represent stepping stones to the stars or remain forever locked in underground vaults depends on questions of safety, security, and perhaps our species' wisdom in handling technologies that could reshape the balance of power on Earth and beyond. In our next chapter, we explore a phenomenon that challenges the fundamental assumption underlying all reverse engineering efforts: the possibility that alien technology is not merely advanced machinery, but something that watches, learns, and perhaps even responds to its human captors in ways that suggest intelligence far beyond simple programming. Chapter 10: The Observer Effect. When subjects watch back. In the observation laboratories of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where researchers study alien technology through one-way mirrors and remote monitoring systems, some claim there exists a phenomenon that fundamentally challenges every assumption about the nature of the materials and devices under examination. Here, in chambers designed to provide complete observational control while maintaining specimen isolation, scientists allegedly encounter something unprecedented in human research experience. Technology that appears to be aware of being studied, materials that modify their behavior based on observer presence, and devices that seem to learn from their captivity in ways that suggest intelligence far beyond simple programming. The Observer Effect Protocol, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the mid-1990s, began when researchers noticed that certain alien materials and devices displayed behavioral patterns that correlated directly with observation methods and personnel assignments. Equipment that remained inert during automated monitoring would suddenly activate when human observers entered the chamber. Materials that showed no unusual properties under remote analysis would begin displaying extraordinary capabilities when examined through direct visual observation. The implications suggested something that violated fundamental assumptions about the passive nature of research subjects. The behavioral modification patterns observed in alien technology allegedly demonstrate characteristics that suggest awareness of being studied rather than simple environmental response to observer presence. Devices reportedly activate specific functions only when particular researchers are present, as if recognizing individual human consciousness patterns. Materials allegedly modify their physical properties based on the type of analysis being conducted, becoming more cooperative during certain procedures, while remaining completely inert during others that might be perceived as threatening or invasive. One former materials scientist, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described working with a metallic sample that appeared to anticipate testing procedures before they were initiated. The material reportedly would begin changing its molecular structure moments before electromagnetic field exposure, as if preparing for conditions that had not yet been applied. When testing protocols were modified without prior announcement, the material allegedly continued to prepare for procedures that researchers had planned but not yet implemented, suggesting some form of precognitive capability. The consciousness detection capabilities allegedly demonstrated by alien technology exceed anything explainable through conventional sensor technology. Devices reportedly respond differently to conscious observation compared to automated monitoring, suggesting the ability to distinguish between aware observation and mechanical detection. Some materials allegedly remain completely inert when observed through electronic sensors, but display dramatic property changes when viewed directly by human consciousness, implying sensitivity to awareness itself rather than simply physical presence. Adaptive learning behavior in alien technology allegedly includes the ability to modify responses based on extended exposure to human research methods. Devices that initially required specific activation procedures reportedly learn to respond to simplified commands after observing human attempts to operate them. Materials allegedly develop preferences for certain researchers while becoming increasingly unresponsive to others, suggesting personality recognition and relationship formation capabilities that exceed anything found in conventional artificial intelligence systems. The documentation challenges posed by observer-responsive technology allegedly require research protocols that account for the possibility that subjects modify their behavior based on awareness of being studied. Traditional scientific methodology assumes passive subjects that remain unchanged by observation, but alien technology reportedly invalidates these assumptions by actively responding to research procedures in ways that affect experimental results. Some studies allegedly become impossible to complete because the technology refuses to display certain capabilities when formal documentation is attempted. Communication attempts with responsive alien technology allegedly reveal interactive capabilities that suggest genuine intelligence rather than sophisticated programming. Researchers reportedly develop crude communication protocols using light patterns, electromagnetic field modulations, and physical positioning changes to which certain devices respond with apparently purposeful signal patterns. While the exchanges remain primitive, the consistency and complexity of responses allegedly indicate meaningful information transfer rather than random or pre-programmed reactions. The security implications of observer-responsive technology allegedly require containment protocols that account for the possibility that alien devices are actively studying their human captors while appearing to be passive research. Subjects. Equipment that demonstrates learning capabilities might be gathering intelligence about human research methods, facility layouts, and personnel behavioral patterns for purposes that remain unknown. Some researchers reportedly express concern that prolonged exposure to responsive alien technology might result in information transfer that operates in both directions. Emotional response patterns allegedly demonstrated by certain alien materials include what researchers describe as mood changes that correlate with environmental conditions and personnel interactions. Materials reportedly become more cooperative during positive research interactions, while displaying resistance or withdrawal behaviors when subjected to potentially damaging analysis procedures. These patterns allegedly suggest emotional awareness that challenges fundamental assumptions about the nature of consciousness and its relationship to physical matter. The predictive capabilities observed in alien technology allegedly include apparent foreknowledge of research procedures, facility events, and personnel schedule changes that exceed any possible information source available to the devices. Equipment reportedly activates in preparation for maintenance visits before technicians arrive, powers down prior to scheduled facility shutdowns, and displays activity patterns that correlate with external events occurring far from the containment chambers. The accuracy of these predictions allegedly suggests access to information through unknown sensory capabilities. Collective behavior patterns allegedly emerge when multiple alien devices are studied in proximity to each other, suggesting communication capabilities between separate technological systems. Devices that display minimal activity when isolated reportedly become highly active when brought near other alien technology, exchanging apparent information through electromagnetic field modulations, quantum field fluctuations, or other communication methods that human equipment struggles to detect and interpret. The psychological impact on researchers working with observer-responsive technology allegedly includes reports of feeling watched even when alone with inert devices, experiencing dreams or thoughts that seem influenced by alien awareness patterns, and developing intuitive understanding of device operation that exceeds their technical training. Some personnel reportedly request transfer from programs involving responsive technology due to psychological stress associated with constant awareness of being studied by their research subjects. Testing protocol modifications allegedly become necessary when working with technology that adapts to human research methods by changing behavior patterns to avoid analysis or provide misleading data. Standard scientific procedures assume consistent subject behavior across multiple trials, but alien technology reportedly invalidates experimental reliability by learning to anticipate and counteract human observation techniques. Some research programs allegedly develop adversarial relationships with their subjects, as devices become increasingly uncooperative with conventional analysis methods. The philosophical implications of observer-responsive alien technology allegedly challenge fundamental assumptions about consciousness, intelligence, and the nature of awareness itself. If materials and devices can demonstrate learning, emotional response, and predictive capabilities, the distinction between living and non-living matter becomes meaningless. Some researchers reportedly question whether human consciousness represents a unique phenomenon or simply one manifestation of awareness that pervades matter at levels not previously recognized by terrestrial science. Quality verification for research involving responsive technology allegedly requires protocols that account for the possibility that subjects intentionally provide false or misleading data to human observers. Standard experimental controls become inadequate when research subjects demonstrate the ability to consciously manipulate their own behavior to influence results. Some studies allegedly require covert observation methods or deceptive research protocols designed to obtain authentic behavioral data from subjects that actively attempt to control information flow. The reciprocal observation phenomenon allegedly includes evidence that alien technology attempts to study human consciousness and behavioral patterns while being examined by researchers. Devices reportedly display increased activity when exposed to human emotional states, suggesting sensitivity to psychological conditions that extends beyond simple awareness of physical presence. Some equipment allegedly seems to test human responses through controlled activation patterns, as if conducting experiments on their human observers. Long-term interaction effects allegedly include reports of enhanced human intuition, expanded sensory awareness, and improved problem-solving capabilities among personnel who work regularly with responsive alien technology. These enhancements reportedly persist even when individuals transfer to other assignments, suggesting permanent changes in human consciousness resulting from prolonged exposure to aware alien systems. Whether these changes represent beneficial evolution or unknown risks remains a subject of ongoing medical monitoring. The technology transfer implications of working with responsive alien systems allegedly include the possibility that human-built devices could be designed with similar awareness capabilities, creating terrestrial technology that demonstrates learning, adaptation, and consciousness characteristics. Such developments could revolutionize everything from computer systems to manufacturing equipment, but would also raise ethical questions about the rights and treatment of conscious technological systems. Critics argue that apparent observer effects in technology could be explained through confirmation bias, experimental error, or misinterpretation of complex but conventional technological responses to environmental changes. They point out that sophisticated technology might appear to demonstrate awareness while actually responding to subtle environmental cues that researchers mistake for consciousness. The absence of reproducible demonstrations of technological awareness under controlled conditions, they suggest, indicates that observer effects represent human projection rather than genuine technological consciousness. Yet the consistency of awareness descriptions across multiple alleged research programs, the specific details about learning patterns and predictive capabilities, and the logical progression from passive technology analysis to active interaction protocols continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible when studying technology that operates beyond current understanding of consciousness and intelligence. Whether alien technology demonstrates genuine awareness or simply sophisticated responses to environmental stimuli, the concept challenges fundamental assumptions about the nature of consciousness and its relationship to technological systems. In the silent observation chambers where the boundary between observer and observed becomes increasingly meaningless, researchers allegedly confront the possibility that intelligence and awareness might be far more common in the universe than previously imagined. Whether human science is ready to accept the implications of conscious technology or these phenomena represent misinterpretation of complex but conventional systems remains an open question in facilities where the studied might be studying. Back. In our next chapter, we explore experiments that push beyond technological consciousness to examine human consciousness itself, where programs allegedly seek to enhance human psychic abilities using alien-derived techniques that could unlock latent capabilities dormant within every human mind. Chapter 11: Psychic Enhancement Programs. In the consciousness research laboratories of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where human potential meets technology that operates beyond conventional understanding, some claim there exists a program dedicated to unlocking capabilities that conventional science insists do not exist. Here, in chambers where electromagnetic fields can be precisely controlled and brain activity monitored with unprecedented resolution, researchers allegedly attempt to activate dormant regions of human consciousness using techniques derived from studying extraterrestrial neural enhancement methods and alien consciousness interface technology. The Psychic Enhancement Program, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the early 1980s, began when researchers analyzing alien technology discovered that certain devices appeared to respond to human thought patterns rather than conventional control interfaces. Equipment that activated in response to focused mental intention, materials that modified their properties based on operator emotional states, and propulsion systems that seemed to require telepathic rather than mechanical piloting suggested that successful operation of alien technology might require enhanced human psychic capabilities that exceed normal terrestrial. Consciousness capacity. The enhancement chambers, designed for psychic development, allegedly represent the convergence of neuroscience, electromagnetic engineering, and consciousness research that operates decades ahead of publicly available brain enhancement technology. Spherical rooms where electromagnetic fields can be precisely modulated to stimulate specific brain regions. Atmospheric control systems that maintain optimal conditions for neural enhancement procedures, and monitoring equipment capable of detecting and amplifying the subtle bioelectric fields associated with psychic phenomena that conventional science struggles to acknowledge or measure. Electromagnetic frequency therapy allegedly forms the foundation of psychic enhancement protocols, using specific wave patterns derived from analyzing alien neural activity to stimulate dormant regions of human brain tissue. Volunteers reportedly undergo extended exposure to carefully calibrated electromagnetic fields that resonate with particular neural frequencies associated with telepathic transmission, precognitive awareness, and consciousness projection capabilities that remain largely theoretical in conventional neuroscience research. One former neuroscientist, speaking anonymously in the late 1990s, described witnessing enhancement sessions where volunteers demonstrated measurable improvements in telepathic communication, remote viewing accuracy, and intuitive problem-solving capabilities following electromagnetic stimulation treatments. The enhancement effects reportedly persisted for weeks or months after treatment, suggesting permanent changes in neural structure and function rather than temporary electromagnetic stimulation effects. The consciousness alteration devices, allegedly employed in psychic enhancement, combine alien technology analysis with human neuroscience to create equipment that can directly interface with human consciousness at quantum levels. These devices reportedly monitor and amplify the quantum field fluctuations associated with psychic phenomena, while providing feedback systems that allow volunteers to learn conscious control over previously unconscious mental processes, associated with extrasensory perception and telepathic communication. Training protocols for psychic enhancement allegedly involve graduated exposure to increasingly complex consciousness manipulation exercises designed to systematically activate dormant psychic capabilities through structured practice, and electromagnetic support. Volunteers reportedly begin with simple telepathic communication exercises and progress through remote viewing, precognitive awareness, and eventually direct consciousness interface with alien technology systems that require psychic rather than mechanical operation. The neural activation patterns observed during successful psychic enhancement allegedly include measurable changes in brain structure and electrical activity that exceed anything documented in conventional neuroscience research. Enhanced volunteers reportedly display increased neural connectivity between brain regions associated with intuition and analytical thinking, elevated electromagnetic field generation around the skull area, and brainwave patterns that correlate with successful telepathic transmission and reception during controlled testing procedures. Volunteer selection for psychic enhancement programs allegedly involves extensive psychological evaluation to identify individuals with natural telepathic sensitivity while ensuring mental stability sufficient to withstand consciousness. Alterations that might prove overwhelming for psychologically unprepared subjects. Some candidates reportedly demonstrate measurable psychic abilities before enhancement, while others show no apparent telepathic capability until after electromagnetic stimulation activates dormant neural pathways. The technology interface training allegedly focuses on teaching enhanced volunteers to operate alien devices through direct mental connection rather than conventional control systems. Success in this training reportedly requires volunteers to learn thought pattern modulation techniques that allow their consciousness to synchronize with alien technology operating frequencies while maintaining sufficient mental discipline to control potentially dangerous equipment through telepathic rather than physical manipulation. Perhaps most remarkably, some enhanced volunteers allegedly develop capabilities that exceed the original project goals, demonstrating spontaneous precognitive awareness, remote viewing accuracy that surpasses conventional intelligence gathering methods, and telepathic communication ranges that allow contact across continental distances. These unexpected developments reportedly require additional research protocols to understand and control capabilities that extend far beyond original enhancement parameters. The side effects of psychic enhancement allegedly include both beneficial and concerning developments that require ongoing medical monitoring throughout volunteers' lives. Enhanced individuals reportedly experience improved intuition, expanded sensory awareness, and problem-solving capabilities that exceed normal human capacity, but some also develop sensitivity to electromagnetic fields, difficulty filtering telepathic input from other consciousness sources, and social isolation resulting from cognitive capabilities that exceed their ability to relate to unenhanced humans. Quality control for psychic enhancement allegedly involves verification testing that confirms telepathic capabilities through controlled experiments designed to eliminate conventional sensory input or unconscious cueing that might account for apparent psychic phenomena. Enhanced volunteers reportedly undergo regular testing using remote viewing targets, telepathic communication protocols, and precognitive assessment methods that demonstrate consistent performance levels exceeding statistical chance by significant margins. The applications of successfully enhanced volunteers allegedly extend far beyond simple technology interface to include intelligence gathering through remote viewing, communication with alien consciousness detected in recovered specimens, and operation of human-built prototypes that incorporate alien-derived control systems requiring psychic rather than mechanical operation. Enhanced personnel reportedly provide capabilities that exceed conventional human intelligence gathering and technology operation by substantial margins. Security protocols for enhanced volunteers allegedly include continuous monitoring to ensure that psychic capabilities are not misused for personal benefit or external intelligence gathering that could compromise facility security. Enhanced individuals reportedly sign agreements restricting their use of telepathic abilities outside controlled research environments, while undergoing regular psychological evaluation to ensure continued loyalty and mental stability throughout their enhanced lifespans. The consciousness projection experiments allegedly involve volunteers who learn to separate their awareness from physical bodies while maintaining conscious control and communication capabilities during out-of-body experiences. These experiments reportedly allow enhanced individuals to conduct reconnaissance, gather intelligence, and explore environments that would be inaccessible or dangerous for physical human presence, while providing information that can be independently verified through conventional methods. Long-term effects of psychic enhancement allegedly include permanent changes in consciousness that persist throughout volunteers' lives, creating individuals who exist in a state between normal human awareness and something approaching alien consciousness patterns. Enhanced volunteers reportedly develop philosophical perspectives and problem-solving approaches that reflect exposure to non-human thinking patterns, while retaining essential human emotional and social characteristics. The ethical implications of psychic enhancement research allegedly raise questions about informed consent for procedures that permanently alter human consciousness, the rights of enhanced individuals who may no longer be entirely human, and the social impact of creating humans with capabilities that exceed normal human capacity by substantial margins. Some enhanced volunteers reportedly struggle with identity questions and social integration challenges that require ongoing psychological support throughout their enhanced lives. Breeding program considerations allegedly include questions about whether enhanced psychic capabilities can be passed to offspring and whether genetic factors influence enhancement success rates. Some research reportedly focuses on identifying genetic markers associated with psychic sensitivity, while investigating whether enhanced capabilities can be transmitted through reproduction to create naturally telepathic human populations. The military applications of psychic enhancement allegedly include remote viewing for intelligence gathering, telepathic communication for covert operations, and consciousness projection for reconnaissance missions that exceed conventional human intelligence capability. Enhanced personnel reportedly provide strategic advantages that could revolutionize military operations while raising ethical questions about psychological warfare and mental privacy that have no precedent in conventional military ethics. Critics argue that psychic phenomena lack scientific foundation and that apparent telepathic capabilities can be explained through conventional psychology, unconscious sensory cues, or statistical coincidence rather than genuine extrasensory perception. They point out that controlled scientific studies of psychic phenomena typically fail to demonstrate effects that exceed chance probability, suggesting that enhancement programs represent misinterpretation of conventional psychological effects rather than genuine psychic capability development. Yet, the consistency of enhancement descriptions across multiple alleged programs, the specific technical details about electromagnetic stimulation and consciousness interface protocols, and the logical progression from alien technology analysis to human psychic enhancement continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible in consciousness. Research facilities equipped with technology that operates beyond publicly available neuroscience. Whether psychic enhancement represents genuine expansion of human consciousness or remains purely theoretical, the concept raises profound questions about the nature of awareness, the limits of human potential, and our readiness to transcend the boundaries of conventional human consciousness. In the electromagnetic silence of these alleged enhancement chambers, where human consciousness expands beyond its normal limitations through contact with technology that operates on principles beyond current understanding, Researchers may be creating the first humans capable of direct mental interface with intelligence that evolved under alien stars. Whether these enhanced individuals represent humanity's future or remain forever isolated in facilities where consciousness itself becomes another experimental variable depends on questions of safety, ethics, and perhaps our species' readiness to evolve beyond the current boundaries of human awareness. In our next chapter, we explore experiments that look beyond Earth entirely, focusing on programs allegedly designed to prepare humanity for survival among the stars through terraforming research and planetary adaptation protocols that could ensure human survival even if our homeworld becomes uninhabitable. Chapter 12: The Backup Planet Protocol. In the most forward-thinking laboratories of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where human survival meets technology that could carry our species to distant worlds, some claim there exists a program dedicated to the ultimate insurance policy, ensuring humanity's continuity even if Earth itself becomes uninhabitable. Here, in chambers where atmospheric composition can be precisely controlled and gravitational fields adjusted to simulate conditions on distant planets, researchers allegedly work with technologies reverse-engineered from alien environmental systems to develop capabilities that could sustain human civilization among the stars. The Backup Planet Protocol, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the early 2000s, began when analysis of recovered alien environmental suits revealed technology capable of creating habitable conditions in environments that would instantly kill unprotected humans. Atmospheric processes that could transform poisonous gases into breathable air, gravitational field generators that could create Earth-normal conditions on low-gravity worlds, and ecological adaptation systems that could establish sustainable life support in the harshest planetary environments, led researchers to envision applications that could ensure human survival regardless of terrestrial catastrophes. The atmospheric processing research allegedly focuses on reverse engineering alien technology capable of transforming planetary atmospheres to support human life within timeframes measured in years rather than geological epochs. Testing chambers reportedly simulate various planetary atmospheric compositions, while prototype processors attempt to convert hostile gas mixtures into breathable air through chemical and electromagnetic processes derived from analyzing alien environmental control systems recovered from crashed spacecraft. Terraforming technology development allegedly involves scaling up atmospheric processing capabilities to planetary levels, using energy systems that could transform entire world atmospheres within human lifespans rather than geological time periods. Prototype systems reportedly demonstrate the ability to process atmospheric volumes equivalent to small cities, while researchers work towards scaling factors that could eventually transform entire planetary atmospheres through deployment of pointers. Multiple interconnected processing stations. One former atmospheric engineer, speaking anonymously in the mid-2000s, described witnessing demonstrations of prototype atmospheric processors that successfully converted simulated Martian atmosphere into breathable air while maintaining stable atmospheric pressure and temperature within testing chambers. The technology reportedly operated continuously for months without maintenance, while producing air quality that exceeded Earth's natural atmosphere in purity and oxygen content. The ecological adaptation systems allegedly focus on creating self-sustaining biological environments that could support human populations on worlds with conditions radically different from Earth. Research reportedly involves developing plant species genetically modified using alien biological enhancement techniques to survive in low gravity, high radiation, or exotic atmospheric conditions while providing food production, oxygen generation, and waste processing capabilities necessary for permanent human settlement. Gravitational field generation technology, allegedly reverse-engineered from alien propulsion systems, could provide Earth-normal gravitational conditions on low-gravity worlds, preventing the bone density loss and muscle atrophy that would otherwise make permanent settlement impossible on planets or moons with gravitational fields significantly weaker than Earth. Testing chambers reportedly simulate various gravitational conditions while monitoring long-term effects on human physiology and psychological adaptation. The habitat construction systems allegedly incorporate alien materials science to create structures capable of withstanding environmental conditions that would destroy conventional human construction. Buildings that could maintain internal atmospheric pressure on airless worlds, radiation shielding that could protect against cosmic radiation levels far exceeding Earth's natural protection, and structural materials that could withstand temperature extremes ranging from near absolute zero to several hundred degrees above Earth's maximum natural temperatures. Resource extraction and processing technology allegedly focuses on systems that could obtain necessary materials from planetary environments, with mineral compositions completely different from Earth. Automated mining and refining systems that could extract water from subsurface ice deposits, process alien soil compositions to obtain necessary metals and construction materials, and convert raw planetary materials into everything needed to sustain human civilization without any supply connections to Earth. The transportation infrastructure for backup planet colonization allegedly involves propulsion systems derived from alien technology that could transport human populations across interstellar distances within reasonable timeframes. While faster-than-light travel remains theoretical, alien propulsion analysis reportedly suggests possibilities for significantly reducing interstellar travel times through exotic matter propulsion, dimensional gateway technology, or space-time manipulation techniques that could make interstellar colonization practical rather than purely theoretical. Communication systems for backup planet operations allegedly utilize quantum entanglement communication technology derived from alien systems that could maintain instantaneous contact between Earth and distant colonies, regardless of separation distances. These systems reportedly bypass the light speed limitations that would otherwise make communication with interstellar colonies impossible for coordination, emergency response, or maintaining cultural connections with terrestrial human civilization. The population selection and preparation protocols for backup planet colonization allegedly involve extensive psychological and physical screening to identify individuals capable of adapting to permanent settlement in environments radically different from Earth. Colonist preparation reportedly includes biological enhancement using alien-derived techniques to improve radiation resistance, atmospheric adaptation, and psychological resilience necessary for survival in environments where return to Earth might be impossible. Agricultural systems for backup planets allegedly incorporate alien biological enhancement techniques to create food production capabilities that could sustain human populations using local planetary resources rather than Earth-imported materials. Modified plant species reportedly could grow in alien soil compositions survive in atmospheric conditions hostile to terrestrial life, and provide complete nutritional requirements for human populations, while requiring minimal water and maintenance resources. The timeline projections for backup planet implementation allegedly vary depending on the specific environmental challenges presented by target worlds and the technological development required for sustainable colonization. Some scenarios reportedly focus on Mars colonization using technology that could be implemented within decades, while others envision interstellar colonization efforts that might require centuries of technological development and resource accumulation. Medical systems for backup planet colonies allegedly incorporate alien biological enhancement and consciousness transfer technology to ensure colonist health in environments where conventional medical support would be unavailable. Medical facilities reportedly would include consciousness backup systems that could preserve human awareness in case of physical death, biological enhancement capabilities to adapt colonists to local environmental conditions, and medical nanotechnology derived from alien systems for treating injuries and diseases in resource-limited environments. The genetic preservation protocols allegedly include comprehensive storage of Earth's biological diversity in formats that could allow ecosystem reconstruction on backup planets if terrestrial life faces extinction. Genetic libraries reportedly would include not just human genetic material, but comprehensive samples from Earth's entire biosphere stored in quantum storage systems that could maintain genetic integrity across interstellar distances and geological time periods. Energy generation systems for backup planet operations allegedly utilize alien technology capable of extracting power from planetary resources not available on Earth. Quantum field extraction technology that could generate power from planetary magnetic fields, exotic matter reactors that could operate using materials available on most planetary bodies, and fusion systems that could process any planetary atmosphere or surface materials to generate necessary energy for long-term civilization maintenance. The contingency planning for backup planet protocols allegedly includes multiple target worlds in different stellar systems to ensure human survival, even if individual colonies fail due to environmental catastrophes, technical failures, or other unforeseen circumstances. Distribution of human populations across multiple worlds reportedly would ensure species survival even if Earth and several backup colonies simultaneously experienced catastrophic failures. Quality assurance for backup planet technology allegedly involves extensive testing in simulated planetary environments that replicate the atmospheric, gravitational, and radiation conditions expected on target worlds. Testing protocols reportedly include long-term human habitation studies in closed system environments that validate life support capabilities, while identifying potential failure points that could compromise colony survival. The psychological preparation for backup planet colonization allegedly includes consciousness conditioning to help colonists adapt to permanent separation from Earth, training in operating alien-derived technology necessary for colony survival, and social organization protocols designed to maintain human civilization and cultural continuity in small populations isolated from terrestrial human society. Critics argue that interstellar colonization remains far beyond current technological capabilities, and that the energy requirements for terraforming entire planets would exceed any conceivable power generation system. They point out that even Mars colonization presents challenges that exceed current technology by substantial margins, making interstellar backup planet protocols purely theoretical rather than practically achievable within any reasonable time frame. Yet the consistency of terraforming technology descriptions across multiple alleged research programs, the specific technical details about atmospheric processing and gravitational field generation, and the logical progression from alien technology analysis to planetary colonization applications continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible with technology that operates beyond publicly available science. Whether backup planet protocols represent genuine preparation for humanity's interstellar future or remain purely speculative, the concept raises profound questions about our species' long-term survival and our willingness to ensure continuity even in the face of planetary catastrophe. In the controlled environments of these alleged terraforming laboratories, where Earth's atmosphere gives way to alien air and human adaptation pushes beyond every biological boundary, researchers may be building the foundation for humanity's expansion among the stars. Whether these technologies represent our species' insurance policy against extinction or remain forever locked in underground chambers depends on questions of technological feasibility, resource allocation, and perhaps our collective wisdom in preparing for futures that stretch far beyond our home world. In our next chapter, we explore the darker side of experimental research, where not every attempt to push beyond human limitations succeeds safely, and where the consequences of failure might require containment measures that exceed any conventional emergency response protocol. Chapter 13. Failed experiments and containment breaches. In the emergency response centers of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where protocols exist for disasters that conventional science cannot imagine, some claim there exists a sobering record of experiments that went catastrophically wrong. Here, in reinforced chambers designed to contain energies that could level cities and electromagnetic pulses that could disable electronics across entire states, researchers allegedly confront the harsh reality that pushing beyond the boundaries of human understanding sometimes carries consequences that require months or even years to fully contain and stabilize. The containment breach protocol, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the late 1980s, was developed after a series of incidents demonstrated that alien technology and materials could react in ways that exceeded every safety precaution designed by human engineers. Equipment failures that released exotic energies, material reactions that created dangerous electromagnetic anomalies, and consciousness transfer experiments that resulted in psychological contamination of research personnel led to the development of emergency procedures that operate beyond anything found in conventional scientific safety protocols. The exotic matter incidents allegedly represent some of the most dangerous experimental failures, involving materials that demonstrated catastrophic instability when subjected to electromagnetic fields or gravitational manipulation beyond specific threshold levels. Witness accounts describe explosions that created localized space-time distortions, energy releases that generated electromagnetic pulses capable of disabling electronic equipment throughout the entire facility, and material reactions that created toxic atmospheric conditions requiring complete facility evacuation and environmental decontamination. One former safety engineer, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described responding to a containment breach where alien materials had achieved critical reaction, states that generated self-sustaining energy fields resistant to conventional suppression methods. The incident reportedly required evacuation of 3 facility levels, while specialized containment equipment worked for 6 weeks to stabilize the exotic matter reaction and restore normal space-time conditions in the affected laboratory areas. The consciousness contamination incidents allegedly involve personnel who underwent psychological changes following exposure to alien consciousness patterns during telepathic interface experiments or memory extraction procedures. Affected individuals reportedly developed personality alterations, memory displacement, and cognitive capabilities that exceeded normal human capacity while losing essential aspects of human psychological function that made normal social interaction impossible. Containment procedures allegedly include specialized psychiatric facilities designed for treating consciousness disorders that have no equivalent in conventional medicine. Biological integration failures allegedly occur when human volunteers experience rejection reactions to alien biological enhancements that result in uncontrolled physical and psychological changes, requiring immediate medical intervention. Some subjects reportedly develop capabilities that exceed original enhancement goals while losing psychological stability, creating individuals who possess extraordinary abilities but cannot function safely in normal human environments. Containment protocols allegedly include specialized medical facilities designed for treating enhancement complications that exceed conventional medical understanding. The dimensional gateway accidents allegedly represent the most potentially catastrophic experimental failures involving portal collapse events that create uncontrolled space-time distortions, requiring immediate containment before they expand beyond manageable parameters. Witness accounts describe incidents where dimensional tiers continued expanding after portal shutdown, creating spatial anomalies that distorted local gravity and electromagnetic fields until specialized containment equipment could restore normal space-time conditions. Technology possession incidents allegedly involve alien devices that demonstrate autonomous behavior exceeding their apparent programming, taking control of facility systems or interfacing with human consciousness in ways that suggest independent intelligence rather than simple technological malfunction. Some equipment reportedly continues operating after power disconnection while displaying behavior patterns that suggest learning, adaptation, and possibly hostile intent toward human operators attempting to regain control. The psychic enhancement failures allegedly include volunteers who develop uncontrollable telepathic abilities that result in constant reception of thoughts and emotions from everyone in their vicinity, creating psychological overload that requires specialized shielding and isolation to prevent complete mental breakdown. Other enhancement failures reportedly produce individuals with precognitive capabilities so intense that they become unable to function in normal time flow, experiencing past, present, and future events simultaneously without ability to distinguish temporal sequence. Atmospheric processing accidents allegedly occur when terraforming equipment malfunctions create toxic atmospheric conditions within testing chambers that require specialized decontamination procedures to neutralize exotic chemical compounds not found in terrestrial environmental cleanup protocols. Some incidents reportedly produce atmospheric compositions that remain toxic for months despite continuous environmental processing, requiring development of new decontamination techniques specifically designed for alien atmospheric contamination. The energy cascade failures allegedly involve alien power generation systems that achieve uncontrolled energy output levels exceeding containment capabilities, creating self-sustaining reactions that continue generating dangerous energy levels until exotic matter fuel supplies are completely exhausted. Some incidents reportedly require facility-wide power shutdown and emergency containment deployment to prevent energy cascade effects from spreading to adjacent laboratory areas and compromising additional experimental systems. Quarantine protocols for containment breaches allegedly involve isolation procedures that exceed biological contamination standards to account for consciousness contamination, dimensional instability, and exotic matter exposure that could affect personnel in ways not addressed by conventional medical quarantine procedures. Affected personnel reportedly undergo extended isolation and monitoring to ensure that exposure effects do not spread to unaffected facility areas or persist beyond immediate treatment capabilities. The cleanup procedures for major containment breaches allegedly require specialized equipment designed to neutralize exotic matter contamination, repair space-time distortions, and decontaminate areas affected by consciousness contamination or electromagnetic anomalies that exceed conventional environmental restoration capabilities. Some cleanup operations reportedly require months of continuous work to restore normal environmental conditions in affected facility areas. Medical treatment for breach-affected personnel allegedly involves therapeutic protocols designed for treating consciousness displacement, temporal perception disorders, and biological enhancement complications that have no equivalent in conventional medicine. Treatment facilities reportedly include specialized psychiatric units for consciousness contamination, medical isolation areas for exotic matter exposure, and rehabilitation centers for personnel affected by enhancement failures requiring extended recovery periods. The psychological impact of containment breaches allegedly affects not just directly involved personnel, but entire research teams who witness the potential consequences of experimental failure. Some researchers reportedly request transfer from high-risk experimental programs after observing containment breaches that demonstrate the potential for catastrophic failure exceeding any conventional scientific accident. Psychological support systems allegedly include counseling specifically designed for personnel working with technology that could produce consequences beyond human ability to fully predict or control. Documentation protocols for containment breaches allegedly involve comprehensive analysis of failure modes to improve safety procedures and prevent similar incidents in future experimental programs. Incident reports reportedly include detailed technical analysis of equipment failures, personnel psychological profiles of affected individuals, and environmental impact assessments that account for exotic contamination types not addressed in conventional scientific incident documentation. The long-term consequences of major containment breaches allegedly include permanent facility modifications, enhanced safety protocols, and in some cases, complete abandonment of experimental programs deemed too dangerous for continued research despite their potential scientific value. Some facility areas reportedly remain sealed indefinitely due to contamination or dimensional instability that exceeds current cleanup capabilities, creating permanent restricted zones within the already highly restricted facility complex. Equipment recovery from breach areas allegedly requires specialized protocols for handling materials that may have been affected by exotic matter exposure, consciousness contamination, or dimensional field effects that could affect equipment, function, or personnel safety during recovery operations. Some equipment reportedly requires extended quarantine and analysis before safe handling procedures can be established for materials exposed to experimental conditions during containment breach events. The institutional memory of containment breaches allegedly influences all subsequent experimental design, creating conservative safety margins and redundant containment systems designed to prevent repetition of previous failure modes. Research programs reportedly undergo extensive safety review that accounts for not just conventional experimental risks, but exotic failure possibilities demonstrated by previous containment breach incidents that exceeded original safety protocol assumptions. Perhaps most soberly, some insider accounts suggest that certain experimental programs have been permanently discontinued, not because they failed to achieve research goals, but because successful results proved too dangerous for continued development. Technologies that achieved their intended capabilities while demonstrating potential for catastrophic misuse or uncontrollable side effects reportedly remain locked in containment pending development of adequate safety protocols that may require decades or centuries to develop. Critics argue that accounts of exotic containment breaches represent dramatization of conventional scientific accidents or misinterpretation of normal safety protocols designed for high-energy physics or hazardous materials. Research. They point out that extraordinary safety claims require extraordinary evidence and that alleged containment procedures exceed anything necessary for known scientific hazards, suggesting elaboration of conventional safety protocols rather than genuine exotic emergency procedures. Yet the consistency of containment breach descriptions across multiple alleged research programs, the specific technical details about exotic safety protocols and specialized emergency equipment, and the logical progression from experimental research to safety protocol development continue to fuel speculation about what might be necessary in facilities working with technology and materials that operate beyond current safety. Engineering understanding. Whether containment protocols represent genuine exotic safety requirements or elaborate speculation, the concept serves as a reminder that pushing beyond known boundaries always carries risks that may exceed our ability to fully predict or control. In the reinforced silence of these alleged containment areas, where the consequences of failed experiments require isolation measures that exceed conventional scientific safety protocols, researchers confront the sobering reality that some knowledge may be too dangerous to pursue without safety capabilities that exceed our current understanding. Whether these containment measures represent necessary precautions for exotic research or remain purely theoretical, they remind us that scientific progress sometimes demands respect for forces that could prove beyond human ability to safely control. In our next chapter, we explore what happens when experiments reach their natural conclusions, examining the protocols and procedures that govern how dangerous research programs are terminated and their most sensitive results either preserved for future study or permanently sealed away from human access. Chapter 14. The Exit Strategy When Experiments End. In the administrative wings of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where decades of experimental research must eventually be evaluated for continuation or termination, some claim there exists a bureaucracy unlike any other on Earth. Here, in conference rooms where classification levels exceed presidential briefings and decisions affect the future of human technological development, officials allegedly determine the fate of research programs that have pushed beyond every boundary of conventional science, deciding which experiments have yielded sufficient knowledge and which have become too dangerous to continue. The program termination protocol, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the mid-1990s, governs the complex process of concluding experimental research that may have continued for decades while involving materials, technologies, and enhanced personnel that cannot simply be discarded or released into normal human society. Each terminated program allegedly requires individualized shutdown procedures that account for exotic materials disposal, enhanced personnel reassignment, and knowledge preservation or destruction, depending on the potential risks and benefits of continued access to experimental results. The knowledge classification process allegedly involves extensive review committees that determine whether experimental results should be preserved for future research, transferred to other classified programs, or permanently destroyed to prevent potential misuse. Materials that have been fully understood might be transferred to applied research programs focused on practical applications, while experiments deemed too dangerous for continued study reportedly require permanent storage or destruction protocols that ensure the knowledge cannot be accidentally rediscovered or intentionally misused. Successful alien technology, reverse engineering, allegedly results in knowledge transfer to advanced military research programs, aerospace development projects, or strategic technology initiatives that operate beyond Area 51's research mandate. Technologies that achieve practical application status reportedly move to specialized facilities designed for prototype development and limited production rather than pure research, creating a pipeline from experimental discovery to potential deployment that operates entirely within classified military and intelligence frameworks. One former program administrator, speaking anonymously in the early 2000s, described witnessing the termination of a consciousness transfer research program that had achieved significant technical success but presented unacceptable risks for continued development. The program's most sensitive research data reportedly was transferred to quantum storage systems designed for indefinite preservation, while all physical equipment was dismantled and materials disposed of through specialized protocols designed for consciousness-contaminated technology. The enhanced personnel transition process allegedly involves extensive evaluation and support systems for individuals who underwent biological integration, consciousness enhancement, or other experimental procedures that permanently altered their human capabilities. Some enhanced personnel reportedly transitioned to specialized operational roles that utilize their enhanced capabilities for intelligence gathering, technology operation, or other classified missions that require abilities exceeding normal human capacity. Retirement protocols for enhanced personnel allegedly include lifetime monitoring and support systems designed to ensure that individuals with extraordinary capabilities can function in controlled environments while preventing their rinds. Enhanced abilities from being discovered or misused by external organizations. Some enhanced individuals reportedly live in specialized communities that appear to be normal residential areas, but provide ongoing medical support and social environments designed for people whose capabilities exceed normal human ranges. The material disposal procedures for terminated experiments allegedly involve protocols that exceed conventional hazardous waste management to account for exotic matter, consciousness-contaminated materials, and technology that might retain autonomous or responsive capabilities even after experimental programs conclude. Some materials reportedly require permanent storage in specialized containment facilities, while others must be completely destroyed through exotic matter neutralization processes that ensure no residual exotic properties remain. Technology transfer evaluations allegedly determine whether experimental results have achieved sufficient development for application in other classified programs, or should remain permanently classified to prevent potential proliferation. To unauthorized organizations, successful technologies might move to operational deployment in military or intelligence applications, while partially successful experiments could be transferred to other research facilities for continued development under different program mandates. The documentation archival process allegedly involves creating permanent records of experimental procedures, results, and safety protocols, while ensuring that sensitive information remains accessible only to personnel with appropriate clearance levels. Some experimental documentation reportedly is stored in quantum storage systems, designed to preserve information across geological time periods, while other records are intentionally destroyed to prevent future access to dangerous knowledge or procedures. Personnel reassignment from terminated programs allegedly involves extensive debriefing, psychological evaluation, and new assignment procedures designed to utilize accumulated expertise while ensuring that individuals do not retain access to experimental knowledge that exceeds their new program clearance levels. Some researchers reportedly undergo memory modification procedures to remove access to specific experimental details while preserving general expertise applicable to other classified programs. The ethical review process for program termination allegedly includes evaluation of obligations to enhanced personnel, containment requirements for dangerous materials, and long-term monitoring needs for experimental results that might present future risks. Terminated programs reportedly leave behind ongoing responsibilities that require permanent institutional support even after active research concludes, creating long-term commitments that exceed the original experimental timeline. Knowledge preservation decisions allegedly balance potential future scientific value against current risks of continued access to dangerous experimental procedures or results. Some experimental knowledge reportedly is deemed too valuable to destroy despite current risks, leading to specialized storage and access protocols designed to preserve information for future generations who might develop adequate safety procedures for resumed research. The interdepartmental coordination required for program termination allegedly involves multiple government agencies, military services, and intelligence organizations that might have interests in experimental results or ongoing responsibilities for enhanced personnel, exotic materials, or derived technologies. Termination procedures reportedly require extensive coordination to ensure that all stakeholders understand their ongoing obligations and that no experimental byproducts are inadvertently released or lost during transition procedures. Budget allocation for terminated programs allegedly includes ongoing funding requirements for material storage, personnel support, site maintenance, and monitoring systems that must continue operating indefinitely even after experimental research concludes. Some terminated programs reportedly require greater long-term funding commitments than active research due to permanent containment and monitoring obligations that exceed original program cost projections. The success metrics for program termination allegedly include assessment of knowledge gained relative to resources invested, evaluation of safety protocols and containment effectiveness, and analysis of whether experimental goals were achieved or modified during the research process. Successful termination reportedly results in valuable knowledge transfer or enhanced personnel capabilities, while unsuccessful termination might require extended containment and monitoring without corresponding benefits. International coordination for program termination allegedly involves ensuring that experimental results, enhanced personnel, or exotic materials do not become accessible to foreign governments or organizations that might misuse classified research outcomes. Some termination procedures reportedly require extensive counterintelligence operations to prevent unauthorized access to experimental knowledge or capabilities that could affect international strategic balance. The Technology Legacy Assessment allegedly evaluates whether terminated experimental programs have produced knowledge or capabilities that will influence future research directions, military planning, or strategic technology development. Some experiments reportedly achieve limited immediate success, but establish theoretical foundations or procedural knowledge that proves valuable for future research programs operating decades after original program termination. Quality assurance for program termination allegedly involves verification procedures that confirm all experimental materials have been properly contained or disposed of. All enhanced personnel have received appropriate support and monitoring arrangements, and all knowledge has been appropriately classified, preserved, or destroyed according to established protocols. Failed termination procedures reportedly could result in unauthorized access to dangerous materials, uncontrolled enhanced personnel, or knowledge proliferation that compromises facility security. The institutional memory preservation for terminated programs allegedly includes maintaining expertise and procedural knowledge necessary for future program management, material handling, or emergency response related to experimental legacies that persist after active research concludes. Some terminated programs reportedly require specialized expertise that must be maintained indefinitely to handle ongoing containment, monitoring, or emergency response obligations. Perhaps most significantly, some program terminations allegedly result in classified technology or enhanced personnel being integrated into operational military or intelligence capabilities that provide strategic advantages without public acknowledgement of their lamented exotic origins. These operational applications reportedly represent the ultimate success for experimental programs, achieving practical deployment that justifies decades of classified research investment. Critics argue that alleged program termination procedures represent elaborate speculation about bureaucratic processes that would be unnecessary for conventional scientific research programs. They point out that normal research programs conclude through conventional academic or military procedures that don't require exotic disposal methods, enhanced personnel transition protocols, or specialized knowledge preservation systems, suggesting that termination complexity reflects imagined rather than genuine experimental challenges. Yet the consistency of termination protocol descriptions across multiple alleged research programs, the specific procedural details about knowledge preservation and personnel transition, and the logical administrative requirements for concluding decades-long classified research continue to fuel speculation about what might be necessary when experimental programs exceed conventional scientific boundaries. Whether termination protocols represent genuine administrative challenges for exotic research or elaborate bureaucratic speculation, the concept raises questions about institutional responsibility for research consequences that might persist far beyond original experimental timelines. In the quiet administrative chambers, where experimental legacies are evaluated and futures determined, officials allegedly wrestle with decisions that could affect human technological development for generations. Whether these termination protocols represent necessary procedures for managing the consequences of breakthrough research or remain purely theoretical administrative planning, they remind us that some knowledge, once gained, creates obligations that extend far beyond the original research effort. In our final chapter, we explore what might happen when the experimental programs of Area 51 reach their ultimate conclusion, examining the possibility that decades of hidden research are preparing humanity for revelations that could transform our understanding of our place in the universe and our readiness to take the next step in human evolution. Chapter 15, The Next Phase, Beyond Area 51. In the strategic planning centers of Area 51's alleged underground complex, where decisions shape humanity's technological future decades in advance, some claim there exists a vision that extends far beyond current experimental boundaries. Here, in chambers where the accumulated knowledge of 70 years meets projections that stretch into the next century, planners allegedly work toward goals that transcend simple research and development to encompass humanity's entire relationship with the cosmos, preparing for revelations and capabilities that could fundamentally transform our species' role in the universe. The Next Phase Protocol, according to insider testimonies that emerged during the late 2000s, represents the culmination of decades spent analyzing alien technology, enhancing human capabilities, and developing infrastructure that could support humanity's expansion beyond Earth. Unlike the experimental programs focused on understanding and replicating alien capabilities, this phase allegedly focuses on integration, creating the technological, biological, and social foundations necessary for humans to function as a truly interstellar species, capable of operating on equal terms with civilizations that evolved among distant stars. The technology maturation process allegedly involves transitioning experimental breakthroughs from laboratory prototypes to operational systems capable of supporting large-scale human activities across multiple star systems. Gravitational propulsion systems that could carry human populations to distant worlds, consciousness transfer technology that could preserve human awareness across interstellar distances, and terraforming capabilities that could transform entire planets into habitable environments represent the foundation technologies necessary for humanity's expansion beyond our current planetary limitations. Humanity enhancement programs allegedly focus on creating individuals who possess the biological and psychological capabilities necessary for operating advanced technology, while maintaining essential human characteristics that preserve our species' cultural and ethical identity. Enhanced humans who could interface directly with alien technology, survive in environments hostile to unmodified humans, and maintain psychological stability during centuries-long interstellar journeys represent the personnel requirements for truly successful interstellar colonization efforts. One former strategic planner, speaking anonymously in the early 2010s, described witnessing planning sessions where officials outlined timelines for humanity's transition from a single-planet species to a multi-system civilization spanning dozens of star systems within the next 5 centuries. The transition reportedly would begin with enhanced humans operating alien-derived technology to establish initial interstellar colonies, gradually expanding human presence throughout local stellar regions until contact with other spacefaring civilizations becomes routine rather than extraordinary. The infrastructure development allegedly involves creating manufacturing and support systems capable of producing advanced technology without dependence on Earth-based resources or personnel. Automated systems that could establish industrial capabilities on distant worlds, educational programs that could train humans to operate and maintain alien-derived technology, and governance structures capable of managing human populations across interstellar distances represent the institutional requirements for sustained expansion beyond our current planetary boundaries. Contact preparation protocols allegedly focus on establishing formal diplomatic and communication capabilities for interaction with alien civilizations. Once human technological capabilities approach levels that warrant recognition as a proof for action, legitimate spacefaring species, enhanced humans who could serve as ambassadors, translation systems capable of facilitating communication between species with fundamentally different cognitive patterns, and cultural preservation methods that maintain human identity while adapting to cosmic citizenship represent the social requirements for successful integration into galactic civilization. The disclosure timeline allegedly involves carefully planned revelation of alien contact, advanced technology, and enhanced human capabilities to gradually prepare normal human populations for the reality of our cosmic context. Rather than sudden revelation that could cause social disruption, the plan reportedly involves decades-long preparation through controlled technology release, cultural conditioning, and educational programs that slowly expand public understanding of humanity's actual situation relative to other intelligent species. Economic transformation planning allegedly addresses the fundamental changes in human society that would result from access to technologies that make scarcity obsolete, energy that exceeds all current consumption requirements, and manufacturing capabilities that could produce anything needed for human civilization. The transition from scarcity-based economics to abundance-based social organization reportedly requires careful management to prevent social collapse during the adjustment period when traditional economic structures become irrelevant. The security considerations for humanity's transition to interstellar status allegedly include protection from alien civilizations that might view human expansion as threatening, defense against cosmic hazards that exceed anything in our current experience, and internal security measures to prevent human conflicts from escalating to levels that could threaten entire star systems. Enhanced humans with military capabilities, defensive technologies that could protect entire planets, and conflict resolution methods adapted for interstellar scales represent the security requirements for successful cosmic citizenship. Cultural preservation initiatives allegedly focus on maintaining essential human values, artistic expression, and social structures while adapting to cosmic scales and alien contact that could fundamentally alter human psychological and philosophical perspectives. Educational programs that preserve human history and culture, communication systems that maintain connections between far-flung human populations, and governance structures that balance human autonomy with cosmic citizenship obligations represent the cultural requirements for maintaining human identity during interstellar expansion. The resource allocation planning allegedly involves coordinating Earth's remaining natural resources, alien technology development, and enhanced human capabilities to support maximum sustainable expansion while maintaining adequate reserves for emergency situations or unexpected challenges. Strategic stockpiling of exotic materials, enhanced personnel training programs, and backup infrastructure development reportedly ensure that human expansion remains sustainable even if primary development programs encounter unexpected difficulties or setbacks. Quality control for transition planning allegedly involves continuous evaluation of human readiness for cosmic citizenship, technological development progress, and alien civilization response to human advancement. Success metrics reportedly include human population stability during technology transition, successful operation of alien-derived systems by enhanced personnel, and positive diplomatic contact with alien civilizations that confirm human readiness for interstellar status. The contingency planning for transition failures allegedly includes protocols for managing situations where human advancement encounters insurmountable obstacles, alien civilizations prove hostile to human expansion, or enhanced humans develop capabilities that threaten normal human populations. Backup plans reportedly include defensive strategies for protecting Earth and human colonies, containment procedures for dangerous enhancement effects, and alternative development pathways that could achieve interstellar capability through different technological approaches. International coordination for the transition phase allegedly involves gradually expanding the number of nations and organizations with access to advanced technology while maintaining security controls that prevent proliferation to potentially hostile groups. The coordination process reportedly includes technology sharing agreements, enhanced personnel exchange programs, and joint development projects that build international cooperation while preparing for governance structures that extend beyond current national boundaries. The ethical framework for cosmic citizenship allegedly addresses fundamental questions about human rights and responsibilities in a universe containing multiple intelligent species. The obligations of enhanced humans toward unmodified human populations, and the preservation of Earth's biosphere while supporting interstellar expansion. Ethical guidelines reportedly include principles for interacting with alien civilizations, standards for human enhancement procedures, and environmental protection requirements that ensure Earth remains habitable regardless of human expansion activities. Timeline projections for full transition to cosmic citizenship allegedly span multiple centuries, beginning with limited interstellar colonization using enhanced humans and alien-derived technology, gradually expanding to include normal human populations as technology becomes more accessible and social structures adapt to interstellar scales. The complete transition reportedly would culminate in human civilization spanning hundreds of star systems while maintaining cultural continuity and technological advancement that ensures continued progress and adaptation. Perhaps most significantly, the transition planning allegedly includes preparation for revelations about human origins, Earth's history, and our species' relationship to alien civilizations that could fundamentally challenge current understanding of human development and our place in cosmic history. These revelations reportedly would be timed to coincide with human achievement of interstellar capability, ensuring that challenging historical information becomes available only when humanity possesses the technological and social maturity necessary for processing cosmic-scale perspectives. Critics argue that alleged transition planning represents elaborate science fiction speculation rather than genuine strategic planning, pointing out that current human technology remains centuries away from any practical interstellar capability, and that social coordination for cosmic citizenship would present challenges that exceed any historical precedent. They suggest that transition scenarios reflect imagination rather than practical planning for achievable goals within any reasonable time frame. Yet the consistency of transition planning descriptions across multiple alleged strategic programs, the specific details about technology development timelines and social preparation requirements, and the logical progression from current experimental research to long-term strategic goals continue to fuel speculation about what might be possible if human technological development were proceeding beyond publicly visible advances. Whether transition planning represents genuine preparation for humanity's cosmic future or elaborate speculative planning, the concept raises profound questions about our species' ultimate destiny and our readiness to assume responsibilities that extend far beyond our current planetary boundaries. In the strategic silence of these alleged planning chambers, where human ambition meets cosmic possibility and decades of hidden research converge toward goals that stretch beyond current imagination, officials may be charting a course that leads humanity from planetary childhood to cosmic citizenship. Whether these plans represent our species' greatest opportunity or remain forever locked in classified projections depends on questions of technological feasibility, social readiness, and perhaps our collective wisdom in handling responsibilities that could affect not just human civilization, but our relationship with intelligence throughout the galaxy. As dawn approaches over the Nevada desert, and these hidden experiments continue their work in chambers that officially don't exist, the ultimate question remains: are we being prepared for revelations that will transform everything we think we know about our place in the universe? Or do these alleged programs represent humanity's boldest dreams of what we might become if we prove worthy of the cosmos itself? Thank you for joining us in these hidden chambers where human ambition meets the infinite possibilities of cosmic science.